So much.
That is amazing.
Also,
Hello,
like,
everyone,
why do you guys look so
and welcome to
attractive
the
as one
Feast of
person?
Dice channel.
It looks really good. It looks really natural.
I am your DM, Elijah Goodall, pronouns they, them, and we are starting our limited campaign for Spooky Month, our Dark Fantasy campaign, Hedge Nights. So welcome. We'll be doing this on Mondays in October instead of Castle Run. And I'm going to let everyone kind of like introduce their player as they show up in the session.
Wait, you want our characters to introduce our players?
Yeah, you'll be introduced by your character.
Break the fourth wall? Okay.
So we're just going to get right into it. Hugo, you've been following the wild path now with your companions, Matthias, Florian, and Amaya Vega, with also Automaton Cav in tow, for about 3 weeks now. The first couple weeks, you were mostly making your way through the Rose's Mouth, a large quartz cavern overgrown with moss and plants that seemingly even in the sunless cavern are abundant and almost little to no, I would say, other than like, you know, the little streams that flow through the cavern, little to no other life so far, other than the plant life. But for the last few days now, you have emerged from the cavern into an open and wild space with purple twilight skies, green grass, and every color of flower dotting the landscape. Spires of strangely colored rock in the distance beckon you further like crooked fingers. And in this moment, Hugo, you are standing in a glade. Peaceful. Small finches that almost look like they're made of white wax dart around from tree to bush and back to branch again. In the little stream that carves through the glade, there is a variety of beautiful golden fishes that flash in the purple light shining down from the sky. Hugo, go ahead and describe your character for us as you stand in this glade.
Yeah, Hugo is a, harsh 30. Like, he looks pretty hard into his 30-year-old wood elf. They have a shaved head, multiple piercings through their ears and nose. They look like they've been on a bender for like the last 7 years. Decked out, in ranger attire, just, armor, leather armor with robes attached, lots of straps, a lot of pouches. Yeah, and he looks like he could sleep. Yeah, he just looks like he needs some sleep.
Hugo, you are looking around in this glade. Your companion's nowhere to be seen. You stand alone, albeit for the small creatures already described. And as you stand here in this glade looking around, on the far end there's a little rise that sort of crops off a bit of the horizon, and a little grove of aspen beyond that. You see a figure step out of the trees and begin to slowly descend towards you in the glade. Hugo, you're familiar with the character. Vivid green eyes and pale skin, elven ears that extend out much further than your own, giving them a wild, fey-like appearance, and a crown of green leaves and almost these dull orange flowers. And as they begin to approach you, you recognize them. It is the same figure that you have since you decided to follow the wild path. You have seen this character every night in your dreams, an ancestor that has called to you since you were young, ever since you found the green stone shortly after the death of your father during the mine collapse. And as you see them walking down towards you, a smile breaks their face as they maintain eye contact with you, and they reach out a finger, beckoning you to come closer.
Hugo, like, kind of looks side to side and just kind of, like, slowly inches towards them.
The moment that you go to take a step, Hugo, you wake up. You're out of the dream. It happened again, and every time it seems so real. You look around, and as you look to your left, you see Amaya. Amaya, are you generally the first one up in the group? The first one to rise, or would Matthias be the first one to rise? You decide between the two of you.
They're definitely the last to go to sleep. And they don't sleep very well when they do sleep, or very long. Kind of tends to happen when you see ghosts a lot. And they like your nightmares. But I think Matthias probably first one up.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Matthias is definitely a morning person.
Yeah,
Strikes me
Matthias,
as
go ahead and
get out
We're
and
not
get
the
him.
same.
Yeah.
Matthias, go ahead and describe yourself for everyone and tell us what Matthias is doing. You've been up, I think, for probably about 30 minutes now before Hugo wakes from his dream.
Yeah, I think Matthias is a little white mouse. He is very stoic and begrudgingly has fallen in with this group, sort of bonded during our last adventure, but doesn't really like to admit that he like cares about them because he's just like, he likes to keep it inside. And he's probably got up early, just scouting the edges of the camp area, making sure everything is, above board, nothing sketchy happening in the night, and maybe gathering some items for a breakfast.
Cool. Give me a little survival check here to forage for a breakfast.
Well, I got a nat one. So
On a nat one,
no breakfast.
Matthias, I think you're maybe betraying a little bit of your concern for that. You already found yourself a breakfast. Like, there was this crazy iridescent beetle that was scurrying by and kind of woke you from your sleep, and you just immediately, like from waking up, chopped its head off, got the beetle, roasted it for yourself on a tiny fire. You're now trying to contribute to a larger fire in the morning to get that going, and you found what looks to be maybe an egg about the size of a duck egg, and you are kind of hauling this thing back right now in this little grass
Rolling
net
it.
that you've made with this single. And I think as you were hauling it back with a nat 1 on a survival check, it catches a little pebble, and you just hear this heartbreaking crack in the egg that you are hauling behind you.
I'm just trying to scoop up the yolk in my little paws. Carrie.
The 30-foot iron automaton that is Cav, their eyes kind of light up. Hold on, I'm gonna find their little art thing here too, so I can. Their eyes go on when they hear the crack of the egg, and they look down.
Mouse need help.
No, I'll go find another. He just leaves immediately.
Okay.
Oh God,
Cav
Cav, what have we talked about? Screaming in the morning, the sun hasn't even come up.
Can you, Kev, can you shut the fuck up, please? I'm trying to sleep. Thank you.
Amaya, as you sort of like sit up and rub the sleep out of your eyes, go ahead and describe your character for us.
Amaya is a 4 foot tall halfling, which is pretty tall for halfling. And she's got tan skin, currently very wild, messy, sleep crazed, curly dark hair. And she's about like middle aged for a halfling, and but also like Hugo, just looks tired, especially now. Not a graceful morning person. And she is out of her armor. It's golden and polished and laying next to her. And also, right next to that is a fashioned mechanical splint. And as she like wakes up beside where Cav was powered down, she's gonna like pick up her leg that looks fairly deformed, and the bone never healed right. It looks like it was shattered in like 3 places, and is going to work on fastening the splint and putting on her armor and tying up her hair into a messy bun that's like fixed with a tiny little like what looks like a screwdriver from her tinker's tools, and rub the sleep from her eyes and try and get herself together.
As you're doing this, you kind of look over, and again, Cav, like one giant finger is sort of like poking through the remains of the egg that Matthias left behind broken, maybe like looking for something other than egg. All of you are up with the day in order to kind of like expedite this and get to the rest of our play. I mean, is there anything that you want to do in particular before you set out for another day's journey here on the wild path? Or is everyone kind of ready to go after?
As coffee was mentioned to be canon in like the first session of this, I think since running into Red and like their time in the camp with the Phoenix Knights, I think Amaya is going to brew from their steadily dwindling supply of like coffee beans that they've just been hoarding. And at this point, they can probably make like maybe enough for 2 cups, and they share it between the 3 of them. So it's like less than a cup. But
I mean, to be fair, you are sharing it between a
that's true.
Like,
that's true.
A wood elf and a mouse folk. So like you've
it's like in an acorn shell for Matthias.
I think
Matthias only needs 2 sips to be like,
yeah, there's a certain point, Matthias, like you're like leaning over the edge of your cup, kind of taking your sips, and Cav is going to like loom over your shoulder, which just puts you entirely in shadow.
Mouse drink all bean juice.
yeah, don't judge me.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why are you judging the mouse for coffee?
I almost forgot your bean juice, buddy.
Juice too.
And Cav
Hugo
is gonna,
gives his cup to him and walks off.
No. It's super bad
Too
for the
late.
joints. We've talked
takes
about
it,
this.
Takes the cup
No, Cav,
pours it
Cav,
straight
come on, buddy.
down,
I got
like,
something better for you. See,
cascades
oil,
over
look.
the head.
Here.
More juice.
Oh, God.
Cav's gonna take that too.
Yeah.
Cool. You all pack up camp. I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that Hugo is kind of like leading the group here on the wild path.
Yeah, Hugo's walking in a way where it's like he knows where he's going. He feels something. I have no fucking idea. Getting distracted easily and is
yeah.
like, oh, a rock, and picks up a rock, and then is like, oh, is that a bow? I don't have one. And then he just pulls, he's like hoarding sticks to try and make a bow
Sticks
out
to
of.
try and make a bow. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Hugo, we can't stop again. How many sticks do you need?
If you knew anything about sticks, I have to find the right one, the perfect one.
Listen, I'm a mouse. I know about sticks, okay? But we have to keep moving.
That's a natural one.
We're really off to a good start.
Getting them out
Okay.
early, I hope.
Okay.
I have to pick up the stick and be like, "Fuck yeah, this is cool.
This
This
stick.
is a cool stick."
Okay. So just to reiterate here, again, you're walking the wild path, a sacred path between realms, essentially, that not anyone can find the entrance to, or not just anyone, I should say. Hugo, because you believe, because of your ancestry, is why you've been able to find the entrance to this path and why you've been called to walk it. But it is the path that can take you from the mortal realm to the Fey realm, should you make it to the end. Go ahead, everyone, and roll the three of you. Make a history check for me real quick.
13.
30-20.
Okay.
15.
Okay, cool. You would know, like 15 and down, you would know everything that I just, like both of you would be aware of what the wild path is. Hugo, you would also know that the wild path, it may be something you didn't tell your companions when they opted to join you on this journey. The wild path is not a fixed path. It can take some people a matter of weeks to walk it. Others might not find the end of the path for decades. And in addition to that, I'll give you this on a 22. Hugo, you also know, should you stray from the path here in this realm between realms, it is ill-advised. And there has never been anyone who has strayed from the path who has ever made it back, at least to tell the tale.
While Hugo is ruminating on that, you just hear him say out loud, like, "No one until Hugo came along."
What was that, Hugo?
Oh, nothing. I think I see a stick over here. And he keeps
Hugo,
walking.
you like head over to go look at another stick. This one in particular, beautiful. It has just the arc that you would need to like make a recurve bow out of, basically. It's a beautiful length, the thickness of it, perfect. On the far end, you also notice there's these beautiful little pink flowering blossoms at one end that are part of the branch. As you approach
You see,
this branch,
Matthias.
yeah,
You see, Matthias. You just look and you find it provides. Life provides, okay? Look at this beautiful fucking stick right here. It's going to make the perfect bow.
Yeah, it's very pretty. I don't want to stop.
Hugo, two things are about to happen at once. You go to reach out for this bow. As you go to reach out for the bow, you look down and you realize the path here is pretty wide and the edges of it aren't too clear cut. It just sort of like fades into the grass from like sort of a packed down dirt path here. You are off the path a little bit. And as you sort of realize that your hand you go to like reach for the bow, you kind of like take a start and realize as you are looking up, you feel your hand stop. It's caught in something. You can't quite reach the bow. And as you start to like tug in your, give me a strength check real quick, or an athletics check. 14. On a 14, Hugo, you can't quite, and as you are like pulling on it, the light catches it differently. Thick strands of spider web are woven around you. Like you've sort of reached into this thing that wasn't catching the light right, so you didn't see it. But it is like going to this pink blossoming tree here, and as you look around, you realize in this little section right here to the side of the path, there's just web everywhere. Zin, you are, maybe about, I'm going to say 100 feet away or so, sitting with the rest of your party members when you feel like one of your limbs that is kind of holding the signal thread to the rest of your web, you feel a tremor. Something's in the web. Zin, go ahead and describe your character for us real quick.
So Zen is an Akari spider elf. She's a large creature. She's about 8 feet tall, 12 feet long. And that's just her kind of like relaxed. When she stands up, she gets really tall. She's like 11 feet tall. She has long, blonde, almost like platinum hair that goes down to her mid back. And she's adorned in silver bracelets on her wrists and necklaces that have stone at different lengths to like her collarbone, her chest, down to her stomach. She's like this ivory white and has like a pearlescent tint to the hairs on her spider body. She's like a spider elf centaur, right? Um, and so her hairs, they kind of like react to her, and she also has these big like kind of blades almost that are still like almost ivory looking, but they're her claws on the front of her two front legs of her spider body. um and she's blind and she wears a blindfold.
Okay. As soon as you feel that tremor in the web, blind though you may be, almost out of habit, like you look towards where you can tell because you, not even that you hear them, you feel them next to your other two companions. And Peter, why don't you go ahead and describe your character for us?
Yeah, Peter is a young 20s young man. He's pretty fresh faced, pretty kind of got a little bit of a softness to him, but he's got kind of also a striking look in his eye. His eyes are kind of always calculating a little bit. He's wearing too nice of clothes for where he is, and he's wrapped in a cloak that is kind of blowing in the wind, but there is no wind blowing that way. And if you were paying attention, you would notice that he's actually keeping a pretty tight hold on the robe, trying to look super super wise. And he's holding his adept staff in front of him, which he's still a little uncomfortable with. It's, I don't know, maybe a little too tall for him, and he is just a human wizard who has just the faintest bit of fuzz on his face, for he has no beard.
For he has no beard. Peter, you see that little tremor in the web. You see Zin's reaction to it. Morphid, you've also seen, you've in the last couple weeks of traveling with Zin, this Akari spider elf. You've seen this look a lot. You know something is caught in the web. Morphid, go ahead and describe yourself for us, and then let us know what Morphid does in response to knowing something is caught in the web.
So Morphine is about a 6 foot tall elf, almost a very stoic, ethereal beauty around her that kind of almost encapsulates winter. She has pale white flowing hair. It almost seems like icicles coming down, a very pale blue cloak that if you look through it, you can see the slightest bit of silver armor. She has a great sword slung across her hip and just very ice blue eyes. Everything about her is almost chilling. And with that, I think that Morphid would look down to Peter and follow the web with her eyes and have him also follow it.
Is it the bevies?
There's something there.
Right then. Well, let's go take a peek.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Zin, it's easy. This is your web. It's easy for you. We talked about like kind of how your sight works with you being blind. You do have blind sight. Like it's so easy for you to follow the web.
Peter
So-
squares up and like collects himself and then steps squarely behind Morphid.
So, kind of in that moment when I can feel the pull on the web, my hairs just kind of stand up a little stiff, and I look immediately in that direction, and I look at, my two companions, and I point in the distance, and I say, "There's someone over here." I was like, "Let's go this way."
Cool.
We follow.
Perfect.
Is it
I think now, let me ask this. Are you trying to sneak up on whatever is caught in your web, or are you just approaching?
I definitely would like to sneak up on whatever is pulling on this web.
Go ahead and make me a group stealth check.
That's a 9.
God, what are my stats?
I know. I did not mention she looks to be about like early 20s, but there's something very old about her.
Peter
And
looks to be early 20s, but he's definitely early 20s. 18.
Okay.
16.
My passive perception is 19. Just heads up.
God, so it beats every single one of those stealth. Hugo, as you are pulling at the web, you look over and you see kind of, I think, almost hiding in the bulk of this. I guess the three of you go ahead and that would be Amaya, Hugo, and Matthias. Go ahead and make me history checks one more time. We're going to see if you have ever seen an Akari before, or at least heard of one.
Maya certainly hasn't.
22.
It's an 8.
Okay.
19.
Okay. Amaya, you have not. Both Hugo and Matthias, you have both heard of an Akari before, so it is slightly less alarming when you see a massive centaurish spider just sort of creeping over the landscape and out from behind some trees to where you are entangled in the web, Hugo, to hiding behind her.
My God. Do you see the beauty that is approaching us?
Oh
I
my
think-
god, what the fuck is that thing?
So,
Matthias just is like melted into like under a bush, like just in case, because he
I
doesn't
feel
know what's
like
gonna happen. He's
all
small, so
that-
he's just kind of like receded into like the shadow of a leaf or something.
I
Maya's
do feel like all that noise is enough that Peter's like, I don't think we're sneaking anymore, lads. Let's get to it. And Peter takes a step into the air and just springs 30 feet into the air and starts flying overhead.
Ooh, okay. Hold on. As you do this, make me an acrobatics check real quick.
Maya's already scuttled up Cav and is like perched on its shoulder, like as he says big bug, she's like half shrieking, half like squish it, half like
17 on the acrobatics.
That it's not just a bug, it's a being. It lives.
As
You
17
see Hugo trying to wave one of his arms, but it's stuck. He's like trying to be very
wrong.
expressive. But his
Peter-
arm, he just keeps pulled more into
As
the
you go flying up into the air, a 17 is not good enough to beat a 20, and Cav, for a nimbleness that you would not have expected out of such a 30-foot giant, reaches up and just sort of like very gently, doesn't hurt, but like grabs the bottom of your foot to like pull you close.
Tiny man fly.
Hey there, let go of me.
yeah, don't squish the tiny man.
Morphe would have ran up to this being with her sword out to get them to put down Peter immediately.
Oh,
They
okay,
see you running
okay,
up with a
everybody.
sword, and they're going
So,
to.
Friend or foe?
so Zen sees all this chaos going on and just kind of realizes that this stealth isn't really working anymore and just decides to stop and just kind of prances over, like gently, like trots over to everyone and just says, "Hello. I
Uh,
see. How
Get,
are
Oh my god, it
you?"
talks.
get your machinery to drop
Eh,
movements.
Yes, I do talk.
I can't complain. Think you just see Hugo getting pulled more into the web. He's like, things have been better, but the things have also been worse.
So
they're a
I'm gonna,
friendly
I'm
lot,
gonna,
but I don't like their grabby hands. And
so
Peter's gonna cast.
I'm gonna reach over to Hugo and just kind of grab him and take my claw and just kind of cut his arm out of it and be like, "Sorry about that. You can never be too safe out here."
Peter. Peter's already cast reduce size on Cav.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Is there a
God.
save for that?
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save. That is on the die. That's a 10 for a total of 17.
I don't know what my DC is.
Oh no, she
It'll be it'll be proficiency modifier, which should be 4, I think, at level 8. No, maybe it's just 3. Plus your intelligence modifier.
Yeah,
as a
4
wizard.
plus intelligence 7.
Plus and
plus
then plus
8?
8. Yep, 15.
15.
Beats it. So you go to, I think maybe a little bit unsettling. You go to try and shrink Cav down to size, and this 30-foot like metal automaton is just gonna kind of like look down. It doesn't take any action, but just looks down at you, eyes glowing.
Everybody, and things get wacky, what a doo doo out here. You all seem pretty nice, pretty chill. Guy who floated in there, that was pretty fucking cool.
Hey, Cav.
I'm
Maybe
Hugo.
we should set him down.
yes.
Good
Yes,
instincts,
you should.
buddy. You're getting faster.
Peter immediately springs back into the air with
Oh
his
god.
robes billowing.
Okay. Yeah, I think Hugo's onto something. Hello. Not used to meeting travelers on this path. Friend or foe? Hopefully friend.
Depends. We'd like it if you put
Oh.
all your shiny bits away and just calm yourselves
Well-
down just a little bit.
Well, lucky for you, mister. I gave my shiny bits away to get here, so joke's on you.
Oh, I know that my appearance can be a little bit intimidating, but I have no intention on hurting any of you.
Good to know. Definitely gonna
Yeah.
hold you to that.
Mhm.
Thank you for freeing our friend here.
Well, he looked like he was struggling and got a little bit chaotic, and so let's just sit down and have a
Is-
chat.
Is
Man,
Cav
I
still
struggle
holding
every day
Peter?
of my life.
Okay.
Oh, Peter's free.
What are y'all doing out here? This is like you don't really see people on the wild path, so what's up? Let's kick it. And you just see Hugo just sit immediately down on the ground and just kind of lay back, and he's like, "What's up? Tell me your story. Tell me why you're out here. Tell me your biggest trauma if you want." Hugo listens.
Oh, trauma.
In a whisper to Matthias. Matthias like, I definitely don't have enough coffee for all these people.
Oh, Matthias is still hiding in the bushes.
Oh.
Be
he
friends
doesn't-
with
he-
the landscape.
He doesn't trust what, like, just in case is better safe than sorry. So he's waiting just to make sure everything's cool.
Well, I'm sorry. What is your name again, sir? As I look at Hugo.
My name is Hugo Desbois.
Hugo Desbois.
I am pretty well known con artist thief. I killed
Oh.
a giant fucking bird one time with these
Oh.
people. It was pretty fucking cool.
We try not to announce that first part, Hugo.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay.
No,
Never heard
no,
of
it's
you.
part of my story. Well, you might. You've heard of me now.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. Well, my name is Zenthira. You can call me Zen. I am a monk I don't believe in thievery or conning people out of things. I'm mostly a
Oh,
path.
that was the old me. I'm a knight now, so you
Oh,
know.
okay. Okay then. And Zin is a little bit suspicious and kind of just backs up just a little bit. But still sits on the ground and with kind of
He's
just like
reformed.
posture. He's reformed.
That's how
He's
Okay.
people
reformed.
Okay.
that's how
Yes.
people usually react when they meet me
Uh,
for the first time. So no
the,
offense taken.
that one
Uh-huh.
that skittered over somewhere under that bush. They're kind of their parole officer a little bit.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
give away my position.
What skittered
Sorry,
under the
under
bush?
that bush over there.
And so Zen is gonna look over into the bush and kind of peer and doesn't immediately see anything,
Yeah.
but hears some rustling around in the bushes.
Matthias, are you active?
Matthias,
Do you want to hide?
well, I feel like I've now been
Yeah.
directly spoken to, so
Yeah.
clearly the mouse is out of the bag. So
Yeah.
Matthias is gonna come out of the bush.
Yeah, Zen, you
He's
see
just be
like
like,
just a little tiny
"Hmm."
like a 5-inch little white mouse in golden armor step out from underneath the leaf.
Peter, I am unsure of this party, but that one is quite adorable.
Quite adorable.
Matthias kind of like straightens up a little bit, like adorable.
You shouldn't find
Maybe
them
fierce.
adorable.
They're fearsome.
And so
Definitely don't want to
They
cross blades
strike.
with that one.
They strike fear into the hearts of enemies. They are cold and calculated. If you think I am scary, you have never met Matthias St. Florian then.
oh,
Well, I'm
Well,
not
nobody
so-
thinks you're scary.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not scared at all, so I guess that means we are friends.
So
Yes.
Zen is gonna lean down really, really far, almost like, or no, her head like touching close to the ground, and peer forward to Matthias and stick out this big claw that's about the size of his body. Yeah,
Yeah.
the size of his
Uh,
body, and go to try to shake this little mouse hand.
Matthias will sheath his sword because he was still holding it just in case. And he'll just reach his little paw up and put it like on the very tip of the claw and just like give it a little.
It's good to meet you. It's good to meet you.
Cav's going to look down
pleasure.
at you, Peter, and you, Morphid, and extend a finger from each hand to each of you.
Peter's
Yeah,
gonna
what he
look
said.
at
That's
Morphid.
Cav. I'm Amaya.
Hi, Maya.
All right, mate.
So,
Hmm.
what are you all doing out here?
Well,
I think
Zen and
probably the
party,
same thing as you.
Yeah, I will tell you. The three of you, Morphid, Peter, and Zen, go ahead and make me a perception check real quick.
Ooh, not 20.
Hugo's gonna reach for
Hell
that stick
yeah.
again now that the web's out of the way.
that is a
Okay.
26.
9 for me.
Oh god, the 26 is
sense.
good too. On the nat 20 though. Zin and Peter, you like there was a reason that the web was up here. It's not just here off the path, like hiding, had the web up. It was not to catch Hugo, Amaya, Matthias, and Cav, or any other traveler on the path. You wove this web because for several days now, you have been hunted by a pack of creatures here on the wild path that are both incredibly magical and incredibly dangerous. In this little meet cute moment, it has distracted you a bit from the nerves that you've had over the last couple days being pursued by this path and not really being able to shake. It's hard to shake something that is chasing you when you have to stick to a path. But you know, you had enough time to weave this web. Like, who knows how far behind you they are. Zen, I think you've put down webs. I'm gonna like, and this is sort of like in canon giving you an ability that I guess you can use against me later and revisit. But I think for like the last about half mile or so, you've just been laying little tiny like little tiny webs almost. And on that 26 perception check, it's enough that some of those webs much further in the distance than the ones that Hugo was caught in. One of those little tiny strands, a vibration is traveling through. It's so subtle and so small, but being a monk, there is something in your core, in your being, that knows when something is triggering those threads, those lines. And you feel it. And you're reminded of what was pursuing you. Morphid, on the 20, you only caught a glimpse of these creatures once. The first time that they caught your scent and began to pursue you. They were close enough that from the top of the hill you were able to look back, and in the thunder of this pack running after you, you caught just a glimpse of these things. Patchy fur, hooves that thunder over the ground, almost creating arcane sparks, because the magical energy that these things bleeds is just unlike anything you have ever seen, which is saying a lot as an Eladrin. Gnashing, crooked teeth that have been sharpened by crunching into bone and flesh. And on the head of these bedraggled, lean, muscular creatures, a single sharp horn. Morphid, you feel it in the ground again, and you smell that wild stench of horse flesh made so much worse by the magic that these things bleed. The pack of unicorns has caught up with all of you, and I need you all to roll initiative.
I don't have a fucking bow, man. What the fuck?
It's a 9.
19.
18.
11.
Do I also roll for Cav, or is that...
Cav just
forget.
goes on your turn.
Okay, cool.
16.
Or like, yeah, with your initiative order. You can choose if you want him to go before or after. Okay, between 15 and 20. Did anyone get over 20?
You were looking away, but that was a resounding
No, okay, cool.
round of head shakes.
Between 15 and 20. I know Amaya and Hugo are in there. Anyone else get above a 15?
19.
Oh, 19. That puts you higher than Amaya, right?
Yes.
Amaya at 18? Okay, cool. Okay. That's those two. Zen, I had you at 9. Peter, what's yours?
13.
Okay. And Matthias, what was yours?
11.
Okay. Let me just slot these unicorns in here. Okay, that's... Okay. Yeah. Okay. These things are pretty much like the speed with which they travel as this pack. Unicorns always travel in packs of 7. So there are 7 here.
As we know.
Yeah, as is like common knowledge. Now that they've closed this distance, a lot of them begin to almost like disappearing in a cloud of pink, cloud of purple. These just feral, savage creatures are sort of like winking out and then appearing much closer than they were as they're kind of misty stepping it like one by one, getting closer and closer to you. Top of the initiative though is Morphid. It's your turn first.
Mhm. The time for conversation is not now, my friends. They are on us. And I think with that, all new stuff.
All new stuff.
I know, I was just like, had the moment of, oh shit, we're on an initiative. I guess I need to look at my sheet, kind of like get familiar with all these new spells and new actions and
Yep.
Let's see. I think I would do my bonus action, which would do the Pact of the Blade conjure. So my sword would just appear in my hands.
Cool.
And she would just take can I see any of them?
Yeah, there are two, like, immediately, these things are kind of like dissipate. Immediately, they're just like, you hear one already kind of like behind the group, about 15 feet away from you, and you feel it before you can see it. There's one that's going to be about 5 feet away from you as you just sort of see this mist start to surge up from the ground in front of you. And you can smell it before you see, but it's like, by the time you attack, you know it'll be there.
Yeah, I think that Morpheus would attack the one closest to Peter, in whichever direction that may be.
Well, I think that's the one appearing right in front of you, because, Peter, you're right behind Morphid, right? That's kind of, yeah. So it's kind of your, Morphid, you're already between this unicorn and Peter.
Awesome. And hold on, let me do that. I don't know how to actually get my packed weapon bonus, so I think I need to look that up. Sorry, everyone.
You're okay.
I think it's just already packed, bound to you.
Yeah.
I think when we woke up this morning, you would have rebounded already.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a 16 to hit.
16 to hit. Everyone, too, before, actually, I'm going to have just everyone do it, just to get it out of the way. Everyone roll me a wisdom save real quick, including Morphid.
$19.
That is a
17.
Okay, cool.
Also got an 18.
Dirty 20.
Sweet.
I got 9.
Okay. Everyone but Matthias, for the duration of combat, you are fine. This particular thing is not going to affect you at all. Matthias, I will explain what happens on your turn when we get down there. You said it was a 16 to hit for Morphid?
Yeah.
Okay, 16 hits.
That is 2d6. 9.
Okay. Okay, 9 as you slash it, and this sort of like, just as it appears in front of you, like teeth inches from your face, it sort of like stops shy as if it's going to like get up and try and trample you with its hooves, and you just slash up, and immediately just this rainbow hue of blood just spatters up your face. Morphin, do you have, is that it for you? Do you have any bonus actions at all?
I get 2 attacks per action.
Cool, yeah, roll me that other attack.
I'm just thinking if she would want to cast a spell. I'll just hit it for now. That is a 12.
A 12 just hits.
Oh, nice. And that's another 8.
Okay. Cool. You slash this unicorn again. Morphid, if that's it for you, it is actually this unicorn that is it's that unicorn's turn. As you slash them, they just sort of like and they are going to come down with their hooves first. That's definitely not going to hit. The hoof, like it's sort of like the slashes, it comes up shy with the hooves and comes down. It's going to try and then use the horn right there. God, that's going to miss. That's only, does a 13 hit? 13 does hit. I didn't hear. I think the mic was muted, but I definitely I saw
that's
a nod.
my.
Okay.
13 is my AC.
Okay. Morphid. Ooh, that's not bad at all. You're going to take 5 points of piercing damage. As the unicorn just lances out with its horn.
I need to update my sheet because I'm currently doing that thing where I'm not wearing my armor and I need to put my armor on, but I will take the 5.
Okay. Okay. That's that. Yeah, I don't think the unicorn can do anything else. I didn't learn my beasts very well either. Got it. Okay, cool. Yep, that's it for that. Amaya, it's your turn. And then after another unicorn, it's going to be Hugo.
Do I see that Matthias, like any change in Matthias?
Yeah, you can give me a perception check or an arcana check.
Okay.
Whichever one you want.
Ooh, geez, it's a high roll. Okay, let me check which one of my modifiers is higher. It's a 22 for perception.
22 on perception. How do I flavor this in perception? There's something in the, like, unicorns bleed magic. They're not smart about it. It's just sort of a chaotic thing that happens around them. It's a perception check, but even like between the look and there's something so wild and powerful about this group of unicorns that you're facing. It's almost like you can feel a field of luck being bent around you in some unnatural way. Like, it's hard to, you couldn't quite say that you see it with your eyes or you smell it or you hear it, but there's something in this space that feels so wrong. Like, the vibes are just off. Yeah, I think that's a high enough perception check too, to see that, like, you see just like a look on Matthias's face that they are not faring as well against it as everyone else is. It's a little more overwhelming for them.
Duly noted, thank you. Seeing these feral magic things just charging forward.
Nasty beasties.
Amaya instantly kind of tightens their leg brace and hells. Brace up, buddy. Looks like this might get nasty. And she's gonna expertly swing up onto Cav. It's something they've done 1,000 times. They know all the grooves, all the handholds that they've mended in, and she's going to take place up by his shoulder, like she usually does. and as soon as she's up there, she's going to hang on and bow her head and close her eyes, and maybe the others can't hear it, but they can see her lips murmuring and moving as she's reciting names from memory. It used to be a time that she would have to say them from her book that she lists off every night, but now she knows them almost better than her own, as she's going to cast Spirit Guardians and call upon dead friends, dead neighbors, people she used to pass by every single day in her old mining town, and they're going to surface from the ground and almost from the magic that like the unicorns leave behind, and they're spectral in appearance, but they just look like regular people. Some of them are holding pitchforks. Some of them have pickaxes and are in like mining gear and almost still look grimy. Others have like rusty swords and look like they used to be part of like the watchtower. And they're going to form up around Cav. And at the base, and then as I get to direct Cav, right?
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on Matthias, like Maya kind of clocks that, but is just worried, but it notices that they seem to be targeting Morphid for whatever reason, and kind of blipping past the rest of us to go straight towards, is it her, Morphid? She, her pronouns? Yes? Okay, cool. Maya's just tell Cav, like, looks like they're targeting our new friend. Can you give her some cover? And that will be it for my turn for now.
Okay, cool. So are you cast? Is it Guardian of? It's not Guardian of
Spirit
Faith.
Guardians.
Spirit Guardians. Cool. Which just activates like when you're moving into space. If they move into your space or you move into their space at the beginning of their turn, they make the save, right?
Yes. So it's like around Cav. What is distance of 15 feet around Cav, which I believe he takes up 10 feet.
Yeah. When you move into the space, I can't remember. Do they have to make a save right away for damage and then again at the beginning of their turn, or is it just the beginning of their turn each time if they're in it?
Infected creature's speed is halved in the area. When it enters for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a wisdom save.
Cool.
So every single
Perfect.
time
Okay,
on a failed save, 3d8
Okay.
radiant,
So just when the turn starts. Cool.
and half as much.
Cav
It
is like you direct Cav. Cav moves over there next to Morphid. That is going to put 3 of these unicorns in the threat range, including the one that's right in front of Morphid. For Cav's
It's a party
turn,
of voids on screen.
Cav hears what you say, but then he sees Hugo. Like Zen had kind of cut you out in that web, but you're still stuck in a lot of web. You've just got your knives right now, right? Because you don't have your bow.
I have nothing.
I think I'm gonna give you a couple. Like you've for sure got a couple knives, so you've got a couple daggers.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think
Thanks.
Cav, like looking around, seeing you still kind of like, even though it's been cut free, like all of this started in such a panic that you're still kind of webbed up. Like you've got your knives ready to go, but like you're still kind of stuck together. And Cav's gonna look at the spider web and just reach down to pick up like a bunch of the web that you are still attached to and like rip it up out. So you're like basically dangling from the web. And
Yeah.
Cav's going to use you to like swing at one of these unicorns. So it's not going to do any damage to you, but you are basically like a projectile weapon right now with your knives out as Cav swings you down at one of these unicorns. So for Cav's turn, you go ahead and make me an attack roll.
I know we just went through improvised weapon trading, but hard targets, not squishy targets, not friends. We don't swing friends. We don't kill friends.
I'm making an attack roll.
Yeah, you make the attack roll.
Can I flavor it, actually? Can I
Yeah, for sure.
tell as soon as I'm about to, like, get in range or, like, be right on top of one of these unicorns, can I tell Cav to let go? Because
Yeah.
I'm going to try something crazy in normal Hugo fashion. I go, let go, big friend. And when he lets go, I'm going to try and wrap the spiderweb around one of the unicorns and land on it to, like, try and, like, Bronco bust this unicorn.
Hell yeah. I just picture Manic cackling too while you're like
Okay,
flying through the air.
Let go, big friend.
You're gonna give me 2 things, Hugo. The first you're gonna do with advantage. You're gonna give me an athletics check with advantage, or it can be an acrobatics check. If I think either could apply. You're gonna do that with advantage because Cav is giving you advantage.
Okay, I'm gonna do acrobatics.
Okay.
That is going to be 21.
Okay. 21 is very good. Give me an animal handling check too, not with advantage, just flat.
Okay. Natural 20. Let's fucking go.
What?
Natural
Okay.
fucking 20.
So here's how I'm gonna flavor this.
He's riding that bitch
landing
off
on a
into the
unicorn
sunset.
that hasn't
Natural.
been hit.
Yes,
picks
Hugo
you up,
dice never fail.
Starts to swing you. You say, "Let me go." Cab just at the right moment.
Let go.
Let's go. You go flying, like Hugo shot like one of your own arrows out of your own bow. Slung by the web that is attached to your back, you go this beautiful arc through the air, landing perfectly. They don't have saddles, they're wild animals, but you land perfectly right on the back of this unicorn. The smell underneath you, it's not great. It is like horse flesh that has been electrified. You see the dirty, nasty,
smells like
crooked
my
teeth,
mother's
like,
cooking.
There's bits of old flesh and blood that does not belong to the unicorn, like jammed up into its gums. There is a horn that just has like bits of moss and rot flecked on it. You can see where it like hasn't cleaned the horn properly after goring whatever it ate last. The fur is patchy and gray. This is not a pretty animal. And as you land perfectly on this unicorn, I mean, what do you say to it? Like, what do you as you land perfectly on
Hugo,
the unicorn?
like, tried to take the web with him when he went.
Yeah.
And he, like, tried to, like, fasten it really quick around, like, it's, like, make, like, basically, like, a, I don't know the word for a strap for the unicorn. And when he lands, he's disgusted immediately, like, just like, I shouldn't have done this. But he goes through and he just starts petting the unicorn and going, "It's okay. It's okay. Shh. It's okay, friend. You've had rough life, just like Hugo."
This particular
It's
unicorn
okay.
pulls up short. You've kind of got like the spider web in its mouth, like a bit almost, and it pulls up short, and you feel it, Hugo, relax underneath you. It is still bristling with arcane energy, but this unicorn has calmed the fuck down.
Call your friends. Call your friends.
Hugo,
Life is too short to be chasing and attacking.
I'm gonna say, since your turn kind of got lumped into calves, this was unicorn number 2, so it's not taking its turn now. You've calmed it down. Hugo, I'm gonna give you do you have a bonus action that you can do still? I'll give you that after all this.
Yeah, could I have a dagger, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, for my bonus action, I'm going to pull my knife out and charge it with a spell.
Ooh.
And I'm going to throw the knife like right in front of, or try and aim it in front of the unicorns and cast ensnaring strike to like make all the thorns and stuff pop up right in front of the charging unicorns.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, give me an attack roll. And I mean, you're just throwing it on the ground, so basically to hit the spot you want, you just need to get a 10 or higher.
Okay.
Total.
12.
Great. Boom, you nail the spot. Ensnaring strike is a dexterity save, correct?
Let me tell you, because I never play spellcaster, so this is all, it's a strength save.
Strength save. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So boom, you hit
They
this.
have to
I'm
beat
gonna
a
say
14.
I'm gonna roll a d6 right now to see how many. What's the radius for it?
The radius is massive thorny spines that appear at the point of impact. There's no like.
Oh, because is it one of those ones that it's
it.
only for one who it hits? I think. If there's no area effect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let me see.
Thankfully, though, your attack roll of 12 does still hit a unicorn's AC, so you can hit one of these. I think if you want to go, you can either go for the one that's right in front of Morphid, or you can go for a different one. They're kind of all intermingled, like surrounding the group right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and go for like the one in the middle of the pack.
Okay, great. You definitely hit it. I'm gonna make a strength save for it. You can go ahead and roll your damage for the dagger, and I think because it hasn't acted yet, you get all your Gloomstalker stuff too.
Yeah.
Strength save is 20 though, so they're not going to be ensnared by it.
Okay. I'm trying to stop them all.
I know Hugo's turn has been like kind of melded into Cavs, but I don't know if I made it clear. I did want Cav to like move in like around the group, so at least the ones around Morphid would get hit by the thing at some point.
Yeah, when their turn starts. Yeah, he did.
4 for the dagger, but since they're not ensnared, they don't take any damage.
Okay. And then do you have Gloomstalker damage that gets lumped on there too, because they haven't gone yet in combat?
I have. If you take I can make one additional weapon attack as part of that action. That would be, yeah. But
okay.
Would my sneak attack technically count on this though?
No, because you didn't have advantage on the attack because no one's flanking it. The unicorns have surrounded you. Okay,
for sure.
So just 4 damage. Okay, 4 damage.
You just see
you are on the back of a fucking unicorn now that is listening to what you say. So
yeah, I'm like, I will call you Barnabas now if you are okay with that, friend.
Yeah, you got a nat 20 check. You just the unicorn sort of like shivers in an agreeing.
I will give you
way.
a better life, friend.
Amazing. Okay, Hugo, that's your turn. That you've tamed that unicorn. There's another unicorn right after you, though. I think, however, okay, this unicorn, the one that you just tried to do the ensnaring strike on, is going to go for Zen. However, no, it's not. It's not going to do that. Zen does a. Hold on. I'm guessing that a 25 hits.
Yeah, 25 hits.
It actually doesn't because of silvery barbs.
Okay. You cast silvery barbs. I'm gonna roll again. That is not gonna be. Does a 13 hit?
No.
All right. Morphid is gaining that inspiration.
Cool. Morphid's got advantage on the next roll that they want to use it on. This thing has missed. This unicorn's missed with its multi-attack. That means its turn is over. As this thing's turn is over, though, a lot of, like, in this space, one of the unicorns, like sees you calming down the one, and it's going to sort of, like, work it up into a frenzy as it sees its sort of wild packmate be tamed by what was supposed to be their prey. And a thunderclap echoes throughout the space, and I need everyone, because you're all kind of in this tight little huddle, I need everyone to make me a dexterity save. And I will say this, Matthias, I'll tell you now for your dexterity save, you failed that wisdom save earlier, and in this space, like basically a pack of unicorns brings their lair effects with them wherever they go. And on the wisdom save failure, as we know, you're suffering from the Bane spell, which means you get minus a d4 to your saving throws. So once you roll your saving throw and total it, you take a d4 and roll it and minus that from the result.
I rolled a nat 20.
I did too.
Okay. All right.
Rolled a 13.
I rolled an 18.
Okay.
I rolled a 10.
Okay.
Which makes sense because, like, Maya is on top of Cav.
Yeah.
I rolled a -1.
Oh, dang.
And I actually have advantage on that saving throw, and I rolled a 3 twice in a row.
Oh my god. Yuck. Okay.
What's the? I mean, actually, it doesn't matter because I still would have gotten a 3. But what's the like source of? It's not frightened related, is it?
No, it's just a spell effect. Yeah, Bane isn't really a frightened effect.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered in this case because I still rolled a 3. So
Matthias, both you and Amaya are going to take 15 points of force damage as this unicorn goes to bolt, and it just sort of like disappears and with a crack appears kind of on the other side of the group, like rearing up in the air. And there's just kind of this ripple of arcane force that goes out and your ears are ringing. So 15 damage for Amaya and Matthias. The rest of you take 15 damage, just halved to 7 points of force damage.
Yep, I have to make a con save to maintain concentration. What's my DC for that?
Unless the damage is 20 or higher, it's just a 10, DC 10 concentration save. Or the damage halved, whichever's higher.
I failed that, but I'm going to use one of my charges in Amaya's brace, Mind Sharpener. Yeah. So as soon as this thunder wave hits them, it hits hard, and as much as they feel that like impact them, it rattles around like the bones, even through the brace. It's painful. It hurts like a motherfucker. And it's just the thing that she needs to redirect focus and kind of grit her teeth and bear down and lock in. And so I'm gonna keep my concentration.
Okay. I'm gonna make there's also like whenever a unicorn taps into its magic surge, it rolls on a wild magic chart too. I need to make a constitution or a wisdom save real quick for Cav. That's really high. That's a 17 on the die. Cav's fine. Nothing happens. Great. That was just one of their like sort of, they get a little pool of legendary actions between the pod. So now, Peter, it is your turn.
Having seen this fight break out very, very quickly and seeing Cav move in between Morphid and a unicorn, he is going to kind of shrug off his previous suspicion. I'm going to use my movement to fly up and away from reach, and he is now going to cast the reverse and cast Enlarge on Cav.
Awesome. Can choose to fail the save, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cav's gonna choose to fail.
You are willing, you just...
Yeah, Cav's willing to get bigger, for sure.
You just get bigger.
Cool, so Cav goes from being, I think, at 30 feet tall, Cav is...
You double in
huge.
All dimensions. Your weight is multiplied by 8, and you go up 1 category, which I think is the one above huge.
Great, so gargantuan. Cav is now taking up twice as much space as he was before, so you just now an
Yeah,
even more
gargantuan.
hulking, just this giant hulking iron tower.
As Cav grows, all you hear is just this steadily growing fainter Amaya screaming. It's just getting taller.
Yeah.
Tiny little halfling. You can't even see her anymore.
Cav now has advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and your weapons deal an extra 1d4.
Okay, cool. I think as Cav grows bigger. Peter, that's your turn.
It's something in the way she moves.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
You see my true purpose here.
Yeah,
now you
yeah.
understand what I have wrought.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have already understood just from the accent.
Maya, also, I forgot, I failed I know I failed the save because it was just a 7 on the die, for one of those unicorns, so go ahead and roll damage for your spirit guardians real quick.
Sorry, I gotta bust out all the dice. It'll be faster if I just get this over with now. Uh, 15 radiant damage.
Okay.
Wait, yes.
Cool.
And that is... They take it on the start of their turn, but also if, like, if Cav was to move into their space, so it's both. If that makes sense.
Oh, I mean, as Cav grows, he's in all these unicorn spaces.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna roll just a general. I'm gonna roll one save for the rest of them too, and not the one that just moved.
And they take half as much damage if they fail it,
It's a 6 on
or
the
if
die.
they pass it.
So that was 15 to all of them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, all these unicorns get kind of fucked up. Cause, yeah, it's Cav is
Good
big
spell.
enough now. Yeah. That's 50. Okay. That was your turn. At the end of your turn, another one of these unicorns is going to go. They're going to do. They're actually doing this. They're going to do the same. And same thing that last unicorn. Like one of them just goes to like bolt off. And everyone make me a dexterity save.
Including me at the distance that I'm at.
You do not have to. Yeah. It's just, it's like a 30-foot
Nice.
radius.
Good thing I'm
23.
in max dexterity.
16.
I
It's
rolled a
18.
nat 1, but I'm a halfling, so I get to re-roll that.
I rolled a 25.
Whew.
Dirty 20. Nat 1 to a dirty 20.
Okay. No one got below 12, right? I think that means everyone passes. So that everyone's just going to take, except for Peter, who is not in range, 10 half to 5 force damage. As another one of these unicorns bolts off. That triggers some wild magic. Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay. I'm going to roll a d6 for this because this is not great. 4. Hugo. Hold on. I need to roll some stuff real fast.
Barnabas, we will be having so many. Hugo's completely not focusing on anything. He's just talking to you. Barnabas, The rough and rowdy life you had is now gone. We will have so many adventures in life. I will teach you the finer things.
As you are whispering that, and Barnabas is just sort of like turning his head, you see there's just kind of like this mother of pearl sheen drool that's just kind of coming out of the corner as he kind of turns his head to listen to you, and his head is tilted to the side. As this happens, Hugo, and that other unicorn takes off, there's a thunder. From that, there are 7, it's the spell magic missile, but it almost like there's like little multicolored fireworks. 7 bolts arc out from the space where the unicorn disappeared, and they are headed towards you. Barnabas is going to see these at the last minute, and what would have been 25 damage for you, Hugo, is just going to be 15 points of damage as Barnabas tries to rear up and takes a couple of those hits for you.
Oh.
Hi, Raiders.
Hi, Raiders.
Thanks for coming, Stevie Mill Plays. We are doing a special Halloween-esque, not one-shot, two-shot? Micro shot?
Yeah, micro shot.
Sub shot?
No, it
Double
would be
shot.
larger than a double shot. Yeah.
We're doing a double shot.
So-
Hugo,
Yeah.
seeing this, taking some of the damage, but seeing that Barnabas the unicorn has taken damage, is going to use like his sleeve and wipe the mother of pearl drool from Barnabas and be like, no one's ever done that for me before, Barnabas. We will get you bath after battle, and I will feed you nice foods. We will teach you finer things. No more hunting for prey.
Okay. You are set. That is Matthias. It's going to be your turn.
Okay. Matthias is going to just actually first I'm gonna do a bonus action and channel divinity. Just to have that in the chamber. And then are any of the unicorns just close to where I am?
Yeah, I think they've kind of just surrounded you. Like, I mean, these unicorns are pack animals, so they've sort of surrounded you, and they're taking turns darting through the center of you, letting off those arcane blasts.
Okay, I think I'm going to just go for the closest one, and Matthias is just gonna draw his sword and do so. I can attack twice, so I'm just going to do go for the hawk, like, you know, like what would be a horse's like heel if
Yeah.
they had a heel.
Yeah.
And just do like a slash on both of like their back legs.
Cool. Give me an attack roll. Or give me both those attack rolls.
Okay, the first one was 19.
19 hits.
And the second one is on the floor. Hold on. I guess I'll just re-roll that. I don't know what it was. Nat 20 on the second one.
A crit. So let me ask you this. I don't know if this is something we talked about the last time you played Matthias in that other Hedge Knights. When you can throw smite on something after you know you hit. If you throw your smite on a critical hit,
Is
like
it
you would double
the Fury of
you
the
would double the
Small?
die. Yeah. No, not that. It's Divine Smite, I think, which is somewhere there. Like you can pour spell slots into a Divine Smite to add damage. If you get a crit, those dice are doubled.
Oh.
So let me see. I can look at. I've got Matthias's sheet.
Yeah. I
right
see
here.
it.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot. I thought Divine Smite was like a separate attack. I forgot that
No,
it's
yeah, you
like
can just
can
throw
add
it on. So
onto
as soon as
the
you know
regular
you're getting a
attack.
crit, you can throw it on there, and you'll get double the amount of dice. for
Okay,
each
yeah,
spell
I'll
level
do
you
that.
throw it at. Okay, cool. Yeah. How many spell levels do you want to throw on it?
I only have first and second level spells, so I assume I can only go up to second level.
Yeah, you have an amount of spells. I think I cannot remember for paladins, but I
'Cause
have your
it says
sheet right here.
for any slot over first level, you get an additional D8, but you burn whatever the spell slot is. So I think I can only
Yes.
go up to what type.
Yeah, you get 3
number that I
second
have.
level spells per day, so you could throw a second level spell slot on it. And if you throw
Yeah.
that on the crit, oh my god, if you throw that on the crit, you're gonna get plus
5.
well, it'd be 3d8, so double, so you'd get 6d8 if you throw a second level spell slot in addition to like your other damage.
Oh, so it's double everything, not double the initial and then plus 1.
Yeah. So
All right,
basically,
I'll do that.
cool. So I'll tell you what you're gonna
Wait, is
just-
that's just for one of the 2 attacks though, right?
Yeah, but you hit with both. So total for both attacks, you're gonna roll 3d4 and then also 6d8.
Okay. 3d4 plus 3.
3d4 plus 6 because it was 2 different attacks. So 3d4 plus 6 and then another 6d8.
All right. I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, just the D8s were 27. And
Cool.
then D4. Well, my normal damage for a regular attack is 1d4 plus 3.
Yeah, so you'll do 3d4 because one of those was a critical hit. So you double the dice there too.
Oh, okay. $14?
14 total. Is that plus the 6 too?
Yeah.
Okay, so 14, 20, 41 damage. Matthias, describe what it looks like as you kill this
Unnecessary
unicorn.
amount of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like Matthias is just like real not having the situation
Yeah,
right
again,
now.
tiny mouse in armor taking down a
Yeah.
whole unicorn.
Tiny mouse in armor runs, just like jumps at the first back, like right where the heel of the horse is, the hawk, and just like slashes, like does a cool flip, like hits the ground, jumps again, and just slashes back the other direction at the other one, and the horse just like goes down it from behind, like on both
Whoa,
legs.
whoa, whoa. You can't downgrade it to a horse because you killed it. You
It's-
killed a unicorn.
The unicorn, sorry, yeah. Unicorn.
Yeah. Matthias, as you slash both sides, first one, then the other, the unicorn goes down, and as it hits the ground, you hear, like, for you, Matthias, would be almost deafening, but like the crack of its neck as it hits, and the neck sort of like tucks under its body as it goes into a roll, and its horn stabs itself in its own heart as it just sort of does like a dirty somersault into the middle of, and is just sort of like now a pile of broken unicorn in the middle of the group.
Matthias just like lands and just like stands up, like wipes the unicorn blood off of his sword, and just like heads towards whatever the next unicorn
Yeah,
is.
give me an intimidation.
you should be
Give me an
terrified of
intimidation check
him.
real quick.
13.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Oh no, that's just athletic and acrobatics. Okay. 13.
Okay. 13. The unicorns are like startled by this. A lot of them begin to start to kind of like do that thing that horses also do, where they like kind of start to like what they don't want to turn around, but they're not very good at walking backwards, but they're trying really hard to just like get a few steps backwards. Immediately from this space where the absolutely busted unicorn corpse is that you just took out, like an orange mist starts to kind of appear about 20 feet in the air. So Peter, you're above this mist. Maya, towering now on an enlarged cab, you're probably a good 40 feet above this mist. Everyone else, orange rain starts to pour down from this cloud, and I need all of you to give me a Constitution save.
How close am I to Cav? Can I use my movement to climb up
Ooh!
before the mist rains down?
You've got 30 feet of movement or 20 feet of movement as a mouse folk?
20.
Tiny little mouse. 20 feet. I mean, you could start to scamper, but it won't get you above the rain in time.
Okay, then I won't worry about it.
Sorry, do I have to do the con save as well from up top or no?
No, you do not. You and Peter are both
13. 13 on con.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Okay.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I also got an 18.
Morphid, Matthias, Hugo, you're all doing okay. Zin, at the end of Matthias's turn, it is now your turn, but at the beginning of your turn, I need you... Let's see, where was that? You still get your action, but at the beginning of your turn, you can't take any move actions or bonus actions. Zin, as you this orange rain from this newly formed misty cloud, just 10 feet above your head, that is formed over the unicorn. This rain begins to pour down on you, and you feel a strange sensation deep in your abdomen that begins to build up, and you begin to vomit small orange fish onto the ground in front of you, as these little fish just begin flopping, or they're still alive, they're not dead. You are throwing up live fish. You still get an attack action, but you cannot take any move actions or bonus actions on your turn while you are throwing up these fish. So what does Zin do?
So Zin feels the nausea and starts throwing up all these fish and looks at them flap around the ground and goes, "Oh, God, well, that's disgusting." Kind of reaches out on the ground and taps her little claws to try to detect the nearest unicorn around her. Are there any within range that I don't have to move to?
Yeah, I'll say there's one right in front of you.
There's one right in front of me? Okay. So I'm just gonna do an unarmed attack.
Cool.
Oops. Oh shit. Wait a second. The 13.
13 hits.
The hit. 13 to hit. 13 to hit. Great. Lovely.
Yeah, roll that damage for me.
Mm-hmm. That is 8 damage.
Okay, cool.
And then I have an extra attack.
Yeah. Because you don't have to use a bonus action to use that, right? That's just part of your attack. Yeah, cool. Yeah, roll that one too.
So there's a 20 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
And an 11 damage.
Okay.
And I'm going to action surge.
Oof. Yeah, okay, cool. It's still, so you action surge, and you, with that action surge, even more, you start vomiting. You can still take another action, but you're vomiting up even, there's a small pile of flopping little orange goldfish in front of you.
All right. So I'm going to continue to vomit up goldfish. And I'm going to take another unarmed attack with a 12 to hit.
12 hits.
All right. That is a 9 damage. And then I believe I still get another extra attack.
Yeah.
And that is a nat 20.
Yeah, roll twice the amount of dice for your attack, and then add your modifier.
Easy lovers can't lose.
God. These poor, nasty unicorns.
Okay. Explain that to me again. So I just roll my dice twice.
Don't talk about Barnabas like that.
Yeah, just twice the amount of dice. So is it a D6 for your
It's
monk
1d8
attacks?
plus 4.
1d8. So you'll roll 2d8, and then you still just add 4 on a crit.
Okay.
Crits just double the amount of dice you're rolling.
Okay, that's a 10.
Zin, go ahead and describe to me how you finish off this unicorn in front of you.
So as I strike it with this claw on my front limb of my spider torso, I just lean forward and I say to it, "You didn't have to do this." And I slash it diagonally across its unicorn neck, and it just bleeds out and hits the ground on this pile of goldfish that start
just
flopping around on top of it.
Just kind of slips off of the slick
Hey, you
pile
made
of
some water
goldfish.
for them.
Hey,
Wild
who
magic
cares
one
if
more
it's
time.
warm blood? It's fine.
That is just.
Ooh, can fish breathe in blood?
Sure, it's
Well,
got
in
oxygen
particular,
in
these
it.
fish are
No.
breathing unicorn.
Nobody knows.
All right, that's enough.
Okay, here's the other thing that I will say. This happens. Hits the goldfish. One of the goldfish begins to like. The unicorn blood is getting on the goldfish. One of them begins to take in the unicorn blood through its gills, and the fish just begins to slowly swim up into the air, and then with a little pop, it creates a 30-foot radius cloud of pink mist, and anyone within that 30-foot radius is going to glow pink for the next 24 hours. Which I
Great
think
job, team.
is everyone except for Amaya. And Peter, I think you're high enough that you don't have
I
to
think
worry
I'm
about
high
it either.
enough. I think I'm at exactly 34
Six.
feet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say after that, like 2 of these unicorns are dead. Another one has like you've fully adopted it, Hugo, and the unicorn has completely accepted it. This pack of they're going to look around. Unicorns are pack animals, and they are vicious and savage, but they are also incredibly cowardly. And 2 of their number having been killed and another one taken off the playing field, they are now only 4 unicorn strong, and these remaining 4 unicorn turn tail and begin to bolt.
Wait, but I thought they always traveled in groups of 7. How do they travel?
Not anymore.
How are they? What does that look like?
Yeah, they're very confused too. You see them like trying to run in pack formations, and they're sort of like hitting each other as they can't quite figure
Barnabas,
out
say
where they're
goodbye
supposed
to your
be.
troglodyte family. You have become more now. Welcome to the age of decadence for you, friend.
As
Hugo
the
is not.
unicorns-
Hugo is a dirty scoundrel, and he's saying,
As the unicorns flee about 50 feet, like they're running fully off the wild path, there is a this just enormous kind of flat, it's probably about maybe like 50 by 60 feet, but a flat slab of rock that just sticks a little bit off the ground. It's maybe like at an angle about 6 or 7 feet off the ground. It's covered in moss and flowers. There's even like kind of a small fruit tree near the back that some sort of jackfruit looking like this knobby green thing is, beginning to sprout off of it. As the unicorn are running by, you see just a massive hand tree, about the size of Cav now, but with Cav's enlarged size. You see lifts the rock large enough for the hand to get out. The hand grabs one of the unicorns, pulls it underneath the rock slab. All of you hear as the rock opens more, and you see a massive face peer out from underneath the rock to look at all of you, like flecked with moss. There's also plants growing on the face, as some kind of massive fey giant is looking out from underneath this rock.
Wondering why you didn't say out of initiative.
At all of you. No, we are going to drop out of initiative order. Still that rainbow-hued unicorn blood like dripping down its face as it holds the back half of the unicorn here in its other hand, like peeking out at you. And we're going to go on our 10-minute break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. I mean, Hugo looks a lot. Hugo looks pretty fucking cool now on his unicorn. Nasty as it is. Okay.
His name is Barnabas.
Barnabas. Hugo looks pretty cool on Barnabas. This giant crunching on like what's left of the unicorn, just propped up enough, like you can't see the full body. You have to imagine that like there's some sort of cave under this thing, so almost like a hermit crab. This giant is sort of like poking out from, it hasn't fully come out from underneath the rock yet, but is lifting it up to look at all of you.
These unicorns are delicious. Does anyone want to bite?
Just going to kind of hold out what's just sort of a handful of what's left of the unicorn now to all of you.
No, I don't eat unicorn.
You don't partake.
I kind of have an upset stomach full of goldfish right now. I think I'm gonna pass.
But
Very slippery they are.
I think unicorns are quite beautiful creatures, actually.
So, you're not going to eat that unicorn? Do you mind
Barnabas?
if I?
No.
Do you mind if I?
I think he's in love.
Barnabas is going to fully, like, if the giants reach it, like, is going to stab the giants.
Oh, hey.
Oh, you probably don't want that one. I think it's infected.
Oh,
It's infected with something called affection. And it will taste super nasty, like nothing like what you're used to. I promise.
Yeah, it was infected by a mind goblin.
It's very contagious.
I'm
I don't know
sorry,
if-
friend. You said mind goblin, and I'm compelled to ask, what is a mind goblin? Are
Mind
they
goblin these
tasty?
nuts, and then Hugo takes off.
You go to take off. Cool. I mean, the giant is off the path. It can't quite reach all of you. If anyone is following Hugo to just get out of here and get away from this big old giant, feel free.
Enjoy your lunch. Thanks for helping us.
Yeah, thank you for offering the unicorn. I'm gonna take off towards Hugo.
It's just going to slowly go back underneath.
Peter's
rock.
gonna pick up that branch that Hugo had been looking at originally.
Cool. Yeah. It's still there. Blossoms still on it. Perfect curve.
Matthias is gonna be like, "Oh, not you two with the sticks."
What do you mean, friend?
Just everyone's obsessed with sticks. I don't know.
Is
I
that
don't
a
know
new
if you guys
thing?
can hear me up here, but you all looked really fucking cool back there. And I'm gonna cast mass healing word on all of you.
Cool. Yeah, roll for the healing.
Do you need help getting down from up there?
I get high with a little help from my friends, but you can get low, and Peter's gonna break concentration.
You break concentration. Cav goes back down to regular size. Looks a little bit disappointed as they gently reach up their hand for Amaya to get onto, so he can put you back down on the ground easy.
You were so big, buddy. Right when I thought you couldn't get any taller. That was a neat trick. We might ask him to do that again sometime.
Grow again.
I know. It was kind of fun coming down, though.
Fun.
Amaya was fully like hanging on and like legs like up in the air for a second as they're dropping. That is 14 healing for everybody.
Cool. Yeah, all of you heal for 14 hit points. Hugo, as you like, you kind of, you're breaking away with Barnabas a little bit as you take off after making your joke, and as you kind of like slow Barnabas down, everyone else, doesn't take you long to catch up. You're going at a kind of just a nice little trot now, Hugo.
Barnabas and Hugo on a very cool trip. Yeah, we're best friends now. Ba da 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 da. Oh, hi. Hey. I don't know if you noticed, but take a look at what I got now. And you said stealing and doing that isn't cool. I just stole a fucking unicorn from its pack. And now he's on our side, or it's on. I don't. What are your gender pronouns? I don't know. Anyways,
Amaya's been like kind of
they go by.
quick fingered, like kind of messing with something, and you catch like flashes of light off of something metallic for a second, and a little bit of like sparks from their own fingers that they're casting mending, and then like, hey Hugo, think fast, and they'll throw it down towards you.
It hits me in the face directly. Hugo started singing his song again.
No athletics check
Hugo
needed.
and
Man, I thought your reflexes were faster than that. When we were fighting that
don't
big ass
know.
bird, I couldn't even keep track of you.
that Hugo was locked in as the young elf say.
Anyways, if you want it, there's a little horse comb down there.
Yeah, Hugo's like gets really excited and then starts brushing Barnabas and trying to clean. We need to find you some water, friend, to clean you up. You are
You would like
nasty
some water.
as fuck.
Give me one,
It's
as you're doing this,
glowing
Hugo, give
pink.
me one more animal handling check.
Scary, scary. Hugo and Barnabas, best friends forever.
Yeah. Hugo, do you think you could
22
ask it
on
if-
animal handling.
Okay, here's
Hugo,
the
do you
deal.
think you could ask it if it could undo this? Because I feel kind of silly. Because we all look pink now.
Are you talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
that disadvantage thing? The thing that was affecting you?
No, didn't we all
No,
turn
we're all
pink?
pink.
Oh, you are all pink. Yes.
Glowing.
I thought I was
kinda like
wait.
it.
That was I thought I was just sunburnt.
I mean, pink's not usually my color, but I feel kind of awesome.
It's a 22. Here's the deal, Hugo. I'm never gonna make you roll to like get Barnabas to listen to you again. With a nat 20 and then a 22, like Barnabas is your fucking unicorn. Do you want Barnabas to try and make everyone not pink?
Yes, I would love that.
Great.
But Hugo asked him like if you could, like if not, no big deal. Like
you
I know
ask
that's
Barnabas kind of like gives a toss. There's they've got this kind of sickly looking sparse gray mane that is combed and like just sort of like now that you've been brushing it, it's just sort of like teased out to the side and like an absolute poof.
fuck yeah.
Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
Oh shit.
Oh god, we're gonna end up
Very-
something totally different instead of
28.
Worse.
A 28. Cool. You you ask hold on just a second. You ask Barnabas this. Barnabas tosses their mane. He's going to look all around, and then Matthias, you were the one that like said something about it first. Barnabas is going to trot over to you, reaches down with the point of their horn so gently. It's like nasty horse breath, crooked teeth, like burning, sort of like almost violet orange eyes with like these goat pupils in them, horizontal pupils, as it bends down close to you and just sort of barely touches you with the tip of its horn. Again, horn is kind of like crusted in old blood and moss. And as it touches you, immediately in a 30-foot radius, so I think this is for everyone now, you're all back in the party, like underneath you, this pink slime just starts to ooze up from the ground,
No. Oh no, that's worse.
creating difficult terrain, and I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god. The best thing ever is that I will never for anything as a player again.
While
Sorry,
while
I
this is happening, Peter has cast prestidigitation to clean Morphin alone, but only Morphin.
Dexterity save?
Yeah, dexterity save.
Nice. 19 on
I
my
got
gun.
19.
Wow. Sorry,
Wow.
19.
Okay.
Oh.
I very nice.
Okay, so no one got under a 12. Cool. No one falls down in this puddle of pink ooze that is seeped up from the ground. I think all of you are kind of just walking very carefully, are able to get out of this puddle. And Barnabas
Does
is
it
going to
smell pleasant or bad?
Oh, it smells bad. It smells like rotten meat paste is what it smells like.
Okay.
Barnabas,
my
after
favorite kind of meat.
tapping Matthias and creating this puddle, is going to very proudly, as if he's done everything correct, just sort of trot out of the puddle.
I mean, it is pink, but never mind.
Is it sticking to our clothes?
Not. I mean, it's not in any hindering way. It's gonna be on your boots. You're gonna track it for a little while before you can finally wipe it all off.
Still painting. Did it change the thing?
It didn't change a goddamn thing. It just made the puddle, so you're all still just glowing pink, with the exception of Morphid, who
Peter walks out of the puddle and recasts prestidigitation to clean Morphid's boots.
Yeah.
I will dive into this unicorn. If anyone tries anything, I will fucking chase you.
Hugo, just calm down. Nobody's gonna do anything to the unicorn. Maybe ask it not to do any magic in it. It's bad.
Dusting the off.
I will not be doing that, but absolutely. It's up to Barnabas.
Barnabas is gonna look over. You're larger than this unicorn's, and Barnabas is gonna look over to you, and his goat eyes go wide, and then looks rolls them back to Hugo nervously.
I think he is scared because you are a large muscle mommy, and you might crush.
I've always wanted to ride a unicorn.
Maybe your friend is a large unicorn, and then it's perfect size for you.
That's a fantastic idea.
What the fuck are we doing here, guys? Are we just hanging out? We are not doing something? We're trying to...
Alright. As this discussion Morphid,
What are we doing again?
Morphid, give me an Arcana check.
Peter,
25?
Close.
Yeah.
And asks, what friend do you want to ride the unicorn?
I wish to walk that path.
Great. As you're just I think without being enlarged, Barnabas hears how badly you want to ride the unicorns in, and is going to just give a little unicorn sigh and get down on his haunches, just sort ready, here I am. So if Hugo's allowing this to happen too, and this is taking place, Zin, you're trying to get on the unicorn, as Barnabas is just kind of crouched down there, sort of struggling to then stand up all the way and lift your bulk off, and it kind of just becomes this thing where some of your legs are still on the ground, and Barnabas is just sort of knees bent, kind of crawling underneath you slowly forward. Morphid, you are, I think, is it regular, this blade, this packed weapon, has not been with you a terribly long time. I think it was something that you were able to call to yourself in the in the glass arcane prism that you were trapped in the tower in Orsad by that Council of Wizards, the Red Strand. And it was something that you were in captivity for, decades. Recently, it wasn't until recently that you were able to, you started getting visions and ideas of this weapon, and then slowly it started to become a physical reality, as even within the prism you find yourself able to occasionally summon to you. And now that you've been out here on the wild path for a few weeks, which you were able to access because of your Fey ancestry as an Eladrin. You were able to like open the way to you and Peter. You know, you've had the weapon since escaping the prism in the city of Orsadi. You've had the weapon every day now. Things you're like clean. You know, you're getting the unicorn blood off of it after the fight. As you look into it, 25 on Arcana. It catches the purple twilight here, and just for a moment, you see a face reflected in it. A white, almost looks maybe like some kind of like porcelain mask, but maybe it's just the skin and it's incredibly smooth, but it appears small, thin mouth. Just, you can't even really see the nose. It's just like two little dots for nostrils. And eyes, narrow in shape, that peer out from the face. And the corners of its mouth turn up just a little bit into a smile. And then you lose it. It disappears.
Peter. And if we would describe this face, is this something that you and your kind would have known?
Oh, not a girl with eyes.
Make me a history check.
I have to, you know.
You have to. Make me a history check.
What's my history? 18.
Doesn't sound familiar, but then again, there's a lot here on the Wild Path that, like, while a lot of things here are going to be Fey in origin, there's things here from other realms that can wander the Wild Path too. Like, it's not unique to mortals that they're the only ones that get to walk the Wild Path to the Fey realm. It doesn't sound familiar, though.
It doesn't sound familiar.
Are we ready to keep walking?
Kind of dusting themselves off and like shaking pink mud from their boots, Maya's going to walk over towards Morphid and pull off their glove and offer their hand out. Introductions got kind of cut short there, but I'm gorgeous. I mean, Amaya.
What's that now?
Pleasure to meet you.
My name is Morphid. And she would like bend down to do the shake.
Beautiful name. Thank you. And Amaya is going to kiss her, like the top of her hand, and kind of like do like a little bow. I think she's a little like, especially with all of us now filthy, kind of taken by her beauty, but also like, is this like a royal? Like, is this a noble person? How should I act here?
Peter takes her hand and he's like, I'm a noble, you know.
Really? And what brings you to the Wild Path then? I mean, it's rare to run into anybody, especially...
We're definitely not running from anyone, if that's what you're wondering. There's not any money to be made by turning us in, either.
I'm not sure why you would say that if that wasn't the case.
Because it's not.
Is that why you're dressed in
No.
Normal clothes as a noble? You hiding from
Definitely
somebody?
wearing like a silk shirt and silk pants under his very fancy robe.
We are
Still
returning-
blowing in an invisible wind. Oh yeah, we're very undercover.
Well, it was so nice to meet all of you. I mean, Hugo's just like already ready to leave. He's like, all right, well, super nice to meet you all. Best of luck evading the forces that be. Unless you like want to travel. I mean, it might be handy to have people in. I mean, we got Barnabas now, which they can probably protect us from a lot. But
The one
You
who made
all
the orange puddles. He seems really good.
I mean, Hugo, I think
He's
there's only one path, so I'm not sure we really have a choice if we're both going the same direction.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I had no idea. I thought there was like it was kind of like choose your own adventure. Like remember those books as a kid.
Remember
I
when
don't think
Yeah,
we're
okay.
supposed to
said
leave the
don't go
path.
off the path?
No one tells Hugo what to do.
Uh,
No one survived going off the path just yet.
Hugo, as
haven't
you
met
say
me.
that, a peal of thunder rings out. In the distance, all of you can see you're kind of, at this point, the path is looking down on a valley. And far in the distance, there are these bright violet colored towering storm clouds that you can see bolts of green lightning within the crowd, like within the cloud, and also striking the ground just occasionally. A green flash there, another one, and then slowly, 6 to 7 seconds later, these long rumbles of thunder, and the wind picks up a little bit, and little drops of bright blue rain just begin to start to spatter the ground around you, and then before too long begin to pour down.
Peter already has his 2-person tent set up on the ground and is waving for Morphid to come in.
Right.
I mean, on second thought, like maybe we make lifelong friendships, and yeah, we should all just travel together until we reach our destination. I think it would make Barnabas more comfortable to like roll in a pack again, and he's gonna look at Barnabas.
Companions who kill together stay together.
I typically don't travel with anyone, but y'all seem pretty nice, and I could use backup.
And I mostly
Aw.
don't kill.
Spider creature said we were nice.
You
I'm sorry,
gotta try it sometime,
So your name
dude.
was Zin? Zen?
You can call me Zen. My name is Zenthara.
Okay.
Remind me
I've
your name
never
again, please.
Seen Amaya. Sorry.
Amaya.
Are you a local in these parts? I've just never seen something quite like you.
Well, thank you very much. I am native to the Feywild. However, I typically dwell underground. I came from a monastery.
That's so badass, and you just see Hugo using the rain to clean Barnabas's like horn, like an underground monastery. That's
Underground
fucking rad.
monastery. Yeah, it was a great place, and kind of came up here to chase a vision of mine, and ran into you unsuspecting characters along the way.
I
Are we
am
just
pretty
gonna,
unexpecting.
Slumber party it up. Hugo, you're leading the charge on this trail, or at least you have told us repeatedly that you know exactly where you're going, despite several stops to chase after sticks.
Hugo is
Burn.
under like a tree with a makeshift tent, and he's laying on Barnabas, and he's asleep.
Great.
Yep, that explains a lot.
Yeah, I think that all of you, Peter, you've got your 2-person tent set up for you and Morphid. Hugo's already underneath the tree, leaned back on Barnabas, who's already I should say soaking wet and blue now from the rain, but also sound asleep, just loudly snoring loudly.
You see Hugo put his hand up like while he's asleep, and I'm gonna cast alarm. Is it alarm? Alarm around the area.
Cool. You cast that. I think Cav is going to take up the usual, especially in a rainstorm like this, as Cav just sort of sits as close as he can to the group and kind of leans over and uses his arms and hands to make a little bit of a shelter to protect anyone from the rain. The fire burning down here, and keep the water from getting on that too.
Oh, yeah.
Guess it's
And
first watch for us, buddy.
Peter can for sure use control flames to increase that fire size regardless of the wet.
Cool.
Just
Awesome.
needs fuel.
Go ahead and
Matthias,
power down. I'll
climbs
wake you
up.
if we need you.
Yeah.
Matthias climbs up onto Cav's knee and just uses the overhang of his
Little
knee
over-
joint as a little tent.
Yeah.
I think because they've been traveling for a while, and Cav often kind of hunches over like this. Amaya's already fastened a little like a literal mouse nest of like random
Like
soft
on a
bits of
whole
moss
apartment
and
inside of a
like
handkerchief that you have
yeah, like
prepared.
bits of
Just tie
fabric
it
and
into
old
place, and it's
clothes
just a
kind of
mouse
torn up
apartment.
and made nice, and it's a cozy little nook for you.
Yeah, I think as everyone is kind of
Thank
like tucking
you.
in and you're getting ready to take first watch, Cav is going to like bend down to you, Amaya, and hold up a finger.
Sleeping.
Which this like thunders out. It's so fucking loud for everyone right there.
Yep. Yep. It's quiet time. Do you remember what that means?
No talking.
Oh, yep. So after this one, we got one more word, and then we have to be quiet until we see either sunlight over that crest over there, or until one of us wake you up. All right.
Cav is going to nod and then look out at the clouds and around at this wild fey landscape that you were in, and then back down at everyone nestling in, like looks at Matthias underneath his knee joint, and then just looks back to you.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Um,
And Cat and Maya's gonna like kind of pat his face, um, hand absolutely dwarfed against this thing,
yeah.
and give him a little knuckle shine. And I'll see you in the morning
Yeah.
and settle in for first watch.
You settle in for first.
June, will you describe Amaya's? What was it you said you had a brace?
Yes, so it's like a similar kind of construct as Cav, or at least like similar kind of mechanics. But it is a leg brace that goes from their ankle all the way up to their hip.
Did you say it was damaged?
No, the brace isn't damaged. It's their leg that's like severely. The bone is all contorted. It looks like they had like a major break all along their femur and their knee, and it just never set right, never healed right. It was shattered in so many places that they're crippled and can't even like put any weight on it at all or walk right without their brace.
All of you are settling in for the night. Who else is taking? I think. What is it? Is it a total of? I mean, here's the other thing about is like Cav can take watch too. Cav can be in sentry mode all night. So I mean, of course he appreciates, even though he's not allowed to talk anymore, you staying up with him, Amaya. But Cav, as the kind of like a reflavored Warforged, has the sentry ability, so can be there and alert all night.
I think
Hugo
Peter
casts that
would at
alarm
least
spell
wake up
too.
and check
Yeah.
up a few times.
Okay. So
Since I only need 4 hours of rest,
Mhm.
I'd like to stay up for first watch also.
okay, cool. All three of you then, Peter, Amaya, and Zen, go ahead and give me perception checks.
That is a nat 20 plus 7. 27.
17.
15.
Okay. None of you, there's, I mean, no creatures in the night. Like in this storm, it seems like anything like larger than the smallest of small insects is taking cover during the storm. There is a point partway through the night, Amaya, I think after you've dozed off, and Zen, you were like just like you're kind of getting ready to go to sleep. Finally, Cav's eyes are still light up, but they're dimmed quite a bit. There's a point in the night where the rain shifts, and instead of like the rain begins to ascend, so basically the rain that has fallen into it begins to rain in reverse as the droplets are like coming up from the ground where they have fallen and begin to like reamass in the clouds above you. You don't, there's no intruders, no large creatures. Zen, On a nat 20 perception check, you don't see with your eyes. You use your ears, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, your webs to understand and feel out the world around you. But you've become so attuned to these things and attuned to yourself that it is like a sight. And the way that you see things, like the I think the vibrant colors that you clock different individuals as, almost like sensing the auras that they possess, is not unlike, for one of the first times, the coloring around you now. For an Akari that was raised in the Nightlands, kind of under constant night, and at that then also underground, so even less color, even less light. You would not know it, but you are now surrounded by the colors that you see in your mind all the time. And on this nat 20 perception check, I think you get one other thing. You've had this dream ever since you were small. There are some Akari that your people call star seekers, which means that, unlike the majority of Akari who are happy to spend their lives mostly underground, you have a desire to seek out light. And the most constant and dependable light in the Nightlands is the light of the stars. The moon waxes and wanes, but the stars are always there. And it is highly unusual for an Akari that is also blind to have this desire to be out underneath the stars. But even as a child, that's all you wanted to do. And you've had this dream ever since you can remember, of a glade. A small brook runs through it. Goldfish catching the starlight from above. And in this glade, you remove your blindfold and you look up into the night sky. And for the first time, you see stars. You really see them. And I think in this moment on watch, you have a feeling deep within yourself that this path will lead you there. Which is really one of the only things you've ever really wanted. And your watch is passed. Nothing else happens for the rest of the night. Go ahead, whoever, like Hugo, if it's still you kind of like trying to make the survival, but whoever does want to take lead for the party, go ahead and make me a survival check for the next day.
Amaya's like humoring Hugo and letting him think that he's still leading, but I think she's also kind of starting to like quietly take stock and try and take point because he's
Cool.
chased after a few too many sticks and unicorns.
Yeah, you make a survival check
I
for me
think
too.
Matthias is also always
great.
just sort of thinks that he's the
You
boss
tell
of everything.
you
so-
tell me I fucking chase, but I fucking got a unicorn. So how about that? There's no chasing. I fucking got
It's
it.
true. And now
Landed
you're
right
gonna
on
try and
top
find
of it.
more.
At
Nat
some point-
20!
Hell yeah.
Oh, not
Ooh,
one.
Okay.
At some point, Peter has taken just a pocket knife and cleaned that branch off because he saw him eyeing it and figured he wanted it for a bow. I don't think I can actually make it into a bow, but I can help.
Okay, cool. You make it, give me a, actually, I'll say Zin, give me a perception check real quick.
Could you leave the pretty flowers on, though, when you, like, clean it
Yes.
up? But just leave the flowers?
There's actually more flowers on it.
That is a
somehow.
23.
23 perception. I think you also, like you've seen what, you've been traveling with Peter and Morford for a little while now. You see what Peter's trying to accomplish, like the natural curve of this branch being a bow and fashioning it more into being a bow. I don't think you would know who it's for because you didn't necessarily see like, or no, you did. You did see Hugo trying to get this branch. On your perception check, I'm not going to make you make an investigation check too, Zin. You possess a very easy way to string this bow.
Hey, Hugo. I think I have a way to improve this bow that you're working on.
I was the one
see
working.
Well,
Hugo's.
no, Peter's. Yeah, Peter's
no.
working on the bow.
Oh, Peter. Peter. I think I have a clever way to improve your bow, if you would let me see it.
Peter smiles and holds it up at like the exact angle, knowing exactly what's about to happen.
So I'm gonna just gently walk towards Peter, and feel out and grab this stick and kind of position it close to where my webs come out. And I'm gonna pull it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then use my hands to weave my web to create the string of this bow. And I tighten it and I tighten it and I tighten it, and it starts to shimmer and shimmer as I apply more and more layers of my web to it. And I put it up to the sky and I pull it back and I hear it make the twanging sound. And I reach down and I hand it back to Peter.
All right, then. And he's going to go over and wake up Hugo.
Barnabas, don't go near that clown. Oh, hi. Hey, what's up, dude?
My friend and I, we made you a bow here. Gift.
No fucking way. And
this gift comes with one condition. If you ever
Yes.
fuck up anything about Morphid, I don't like to hurt things, but I'll cut off your head and drink your blood, all right?
that's pretty fair. Yeah,
Whoa,
that's fair.
All right, then.
Oh,
Let's see.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. And Hugo takes the bow and he goes, oh, "This was the perfect stick I saw earlier. How did you know? Oh my goodness,
You
beautiful."
literally got yourself stuck in a web trying to pick it up. It's just a
Oh,
stick,
yeah.
brother.
No. This stick is this is the stick. You do
It's
not
a
understand.
-2 bow.
You'll
Bears
see.
just
You'll-
shoot backwards when you try to fire it.
You shall
Oh.
see. And
I'll take it
And,
by all the talking.
Hugo looks at it and he like makes a little bit of like some personal adjustments to it, like just to like little knocks here and there that he would likes to put his arrows on, and then
Yeah.
he's like, "Thanks, man."
Just don't
You're-
ask where the
you're a-
bowstring came from.
Well, you know I want to know where the bowstring came from now. Did it come from the same place well, it's web. It looks like web to me. Did it?
It's perfectly
Gonna-
sanitary.
I would prefer if it wasn't, but I will take sanitary.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's gonna kind of like adjust it and then like, thanks. Hugo never really got gift before. I appreciate you too.
I'll take it by all the talking. It is morning time.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
have enough coffee for all these people. Yep, thanks, Cap. Morning to you too. Good job.
Matthias is just feeding Barnabas the like shiny beetles that he finds on the ground, like sharing his
Like
breakfast.
one
with.
at a time.
Yeah.
Barnabas has not
Hugo
opened his eyes
sees-
yet, but is just opening the mouth and like the tongue is just sort of like rolling out to take in beetles one at a time.
Hugo sees us and he's like, "This is the decadence I was talking about, Barnabas. Being fed. No more scavenging."
I think Barnabas is still dreaming, but in the dream, Barnabas is like lounged out, laying on a throne, and there's just a cloud feeding. There's a clown feeding him grapes and like fanning him with a big.
As we all know, that's what unicorns dream every night.
Hugo said the thing
Yeah.
about clouds.
Yeah, we're like we've synced up. Our dreams are like the same
Having
now.
the same dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't break this type of bond.
You can't. You can't. No one can break the bond that a nat 20 animal handling check forges. Okay. Survival checks. Matthias got a nat 20. What were the other two?
And that one.
Nat 1.
I got a 13.
13. And then did Hugo, are you just too enraptured with Barnabas?
I never rolled. But
Hugo
now
was still
he's
asleep.
renewed. He's renewed. He's renewed now.
Mine's a
Perfect.
25 with my modifier.
Okay.
Survival roll.
Yes.
I rolled an 18 on the die,
Ooh.
so
Takes
21.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Between the 21 and then the nat 20 for a total of 25, it's going to negate the one, like, so there's a point on the one where, like, you're kind of like confidently starting out, and it's impressive to the newcomers to the group that here's this like blind Akari quickly leading. There is a point about 30 minutes in when you just start to branch straight off the path to like head over a hill, and like Barnabas has to like trot out and kind of like brings you back into the fold. Matthias, on your nat 20, not only do you manage to avoid, there's no more packs of unicorn, you don't run into any more like vicious, strange creatures out here on the wild path. And I think you're able to find, there's just this neat little, it's kind of like right there next to the path. You're not really leaving the path to like, leaving the path is basically like losing sight of the path. So it's wandering far enough off that you can no longer see the path. There is just this little kind of glade right here. There's like a little, you're dipping down again. You're starting to head into that valley. There's a little overhang here that just kind of provides a little bit of shade. There's a not a swarm, but probably a few dozen of these like in this glade of these beautiful little kind of purple twilight colored moths that are flocking in this little respite here underneath the bluff. You can see each time they open their wings, there's like, when they're folded up like this, it's kind of like pinks and purples. But as soon as they open their wings, on each of these moths, you see different shifting constellations, and the night sky on the interior of these moth wings is so vivid that it almost looks like you could reach into it. Like it's almost like extra dimensional space held in the like two-dimensional thinness of the moth's wings. But there's, about
Do
3
moths
dozen.
count as small beasts?
Moths do count as small beasts. Yes.
Can I try to talk to them?
You can try to talk to one. Give me a persuasion. We could call this persuasion or animal handling, whichever one you want to do.
Oh, that's not very good. They're both the same. I'll just do animal handling. I'm not trying to like persuade them of anything specific.
Yeah.
I'm just but I got a 9, so
Okay. On a 9, you kind of go, a lot of these moths are going to kind of, even at your presence, they're not small moths, but you're still bigger than them, even as like a 5.5-inch mouse. There is one that kind of remains and just slowly like beating its wings, so you see the night sky unfold and then fold again. It's got its little fuzzy antenna there and its compound eyes as it just kind of like faces you, clinging to a little like orange poppy that is there in the field.
hello, friend.
Oh, hello.
We're just travelers making our way up the path, and I was wondering if you knew anything that might help us on our way.
Help. Food?
Food is good.
Help with food. The moth is just going to kind of use its antennas to like gesture to some of the leaves and other plants around in the.
Oh, well, that might work for me, but as you can see, some of our party's going to need more sustenance. Big.
You see there's a moment that as like the moth is kind of like looking around with its compound eyes, that you see reflected in its eyes a reflection of Zin, and the moth just sort of freezes for a moment and like its wings fold up.
It's okay. It's okay. They're a friend. They won't eat you.
Help.
Help? Can you help us?
Follow.
Okay. To where?
The moth isn't going to say anything. It's just going to starts fluttering and takes off. Matthias, are you following it?
Well, I only rolled a 9. So I don't know how reliable this moth is. But yes, as long as it's not like going off the path majorly or anything.
Okay.
This is definitely good for you to be the one to go, because you're the one who can carry the most food back too.
Well, I mean, I would be relaying to the group what was happening. So I don't think I'm just going off on my
is anyone
own.
gonna go with Matthias?
You know, I really like.
Maybe I am going off on my own.
I mean, if you need,
Where-
if
where
you need
are
help
you-
carrying
where are you-
something,
Where are you going, beholder of death?
This moth said that they could help us, so I'm just going to go see what they're trying to show me.
yeah, trust it. Fuck
Barnabas,
it.
it's a good idea.
I've followed weirder things on even less than that.
I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just eat a bunch of moths.
Yeah, but just don't eat this one. I already had to, tell it you were okay. No.
You should never
The moth is still
personify
flying, but it's
anything
like actively
you're gonna
crying while
eat.
it's trying to fly and show you a.
Matthias is like walking next to it and trying to be like, it's okay.
Yeah, whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, I think we all follow Matthias.
Cool.
Barnabas, you also don't eat the moth.
Barnabas is gonna look over, mouth already for like there. You see two wings already sticking out from like.
Barnabas!
Just like a just emascerated clump of like moth wings and stuff just comes out of that mouth, and that rainbow slick drool.
Hugo, try to keep Barnabas from eating living things unless we tell him to, okay?
Barnabas marches to the beat of his own drums. I will try and influence, but I'm kind of a hands-off pet owner at this point.
Great. Sure, that's gonna go really
Hey,
well.
Barnabas. Hey, Barnabas. Remember decadence. We eat nice, beautiful things. We don't eat things lesser. All right. Grapes and wine and fine meats. Only the best for us.
You're gonna feed this unicorn meat?
It eats. I mean, I
Yeah,
did already said that it
it's
has
already
like flecks
eaten
of meat in its.
Many horrible
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it tried to eat us.
Yeah,
for sure.
It really did.
No, it was just
You're
doing that for
welcome.
different reasons.
By the way, no, you're welcome. By the way, like Hugo turned enemy into ally. That's a beautiful thing, right? Like,
Beautiful thing. Great. Moth can't go very fast, so it takes a little while, but still within sight of the path. Reaches this little, just like a little grove of aspen trees. The path is still visible. You're probably a few hundred feet off of it. But as you come into this glade, like the moth sort of circles for a moment and then just sort of like dips a little low to you, Matthias. It's like all of its legs almost like gives you like a little like kind of like tickles your whiskers as it goes by, like with its legs, and goes flapping off, kind of just like leading you to this glade. or not
Thank
not a glade, a
thank you.
grove. All of you go ahead and give me perception checks.
My best skill. My second best.
As the moth was flying, I know it's gone now. Amaya, to like kind of
22.
like gently speed it up, was just behind it, like blowing very softly, but like blowing and like doing like, "You're doing great. You're so pretty. I love your wings so much." Like just blowing little compliments at it the whole time.
I rolled a 25.
8.
21.
Also 8.
8.
22.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. These are all, with the exception of the 8s, like, so Peter Matthias.
I'm very short. I
Yeah,
can't
you're
see
kind
a
of like
lot.
looking around this. There's like a still little pond here. You see a couple. They almost like look like dragonflies that almost look like they're made out of amethyst. They have these little like cut glass wings, or kind of like, you know, buzzing around. But instead of like the usual dragonfly noise, it's almost like little tiny like clinks and clacks, like almost like little bits of like stone or glass hitting together. So these little dragonflies are buzzing around. The rest of you, looking around, Grove appears to be empty at first, until a face on the far end, blending into all the trees. You know, it's these like this white papery birch bark, and so it's not easy to see at first, but kind of on your second or third scan around the grove, you see, could be skin or it could be some like a mask of something, but there is a face. Eyes here, the nose so pale that it just blends into the rest of the face, and you just kind of see two little nostrils and a long thin mouth curved upwards in a smile with these white antlers that come up behind it. And I think as you take notice of this face, the figure begins to walk out into the grove, and what you see the rest of it, you know, you have like the face of it, or the head of this thing. The rest of it is just the body of a stag. So it kind of comes trotting out. Like what you have is kind of this like mask of an almost human face on the body of a stag. As it trots
Not terrifying
out,
at all.
yeah, as it trots out into the field and just kind of like silently like comes to the edge of the pond, leans down, takes a drink, looks back up at you, still smiling, leans down to get another drink, and then just kind of like sits back on its haunches and looks at all of you. It's just sitting there watching you.
Hello there.
The moth said it was taking us to food, but I don't think we should try and eat that.
You don't know what he's into. Do you want to be eaten?
She would walk down towards it, yeah.
I'd prefer not to be.
There you
if
go.
It's all the same to you.
Okay, well, you know, I guess I won't eat you.
Thank you.
You've
Well,
been
Most
watching.
gracious. I've been watching. Yes.
We are on the right path.
You are on a wild path. Whether it is the right one for you remains to be seen.
I'm feeling pretty confident about this path. I mean, I have a best friend unicorn now, so
Hugo, you're always confident about everything.
yeah, I am, aren't I?
One
To
of
be
his
fair,
many
now he has a
talents.
unicorn friend, so can't be all bad.
Do you have a name?
I have no name. Perhaps you would like to give me one.
You look like a Gibraltar to me. I'm just saying. Seems like a fitting name for you. If you want it. It's all about vibes.
Give me a persuasion check.
12 on the die. Persuasion. That's a 14.
Okay. Gibraltar. Is there a meaning for this name?
No. It's the first thing that popped in head. You can give it meaning though.
Whoa.
What is your name?
I am.
Hey, Hugo, quick sidebar.
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
gonna
my
say,
name's
can we
Hugo
vibe
Dubois.
check this? Damn it, Hugo.
What's up? What's up?
I would like to reach out and pet it after.
I
Also,
just-
touch it.
Okay. You go. Give me a persuasion check.
Again? Me?
Not you.
Oh.
Morphid.
I think
21.
Peter seeing this happening is also going to cast Charm Person.
Okay, you're trying to cast Charm Person on this creature.
Yeah.
Cool. We're 21. You reach out and it goes back to stand on all four of its legs, but not to get away. Like it stands on all four legs and like comes closer to you now, kind of like leaning out. Doesn't say anything, but just sort of tilts its. I mean, it's fully. You're 6 feet tall, Morphin. I mean, this thing is still like standing. It's a big stag body, so it's still like almost a foot taller than you, but it arches out its long neck, lowers it, all while maintaining eye contact with you and just keeping that like long, thin smile.
Think Morphin would go to press her forehead against its forehead.
Okay. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to roll. It's a wisdom save, right, for charm?
Yeah.
Oh, you're rolling to attack me.
Okay. I rolled with advantage, and still the highest roll that I got was a 7. Does a 14 save?
No.
It's going to burn one of its legendary resistances then to
That's a worrying thing for you to say.
negate the charm. I think as you do this, it doesn't start up. Like there's no suddenness to its movements. But Peter, like Morphid is petting it, and it does break eye contact with her to look right at you. And it just keeps smiling.
Oh no.
Okay, then I am going to immediately cast Polymorph.
You're going to cast Polymorph on this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Is
Does
that
not like that
a
at
wisdom
all.
save too? I don't remember if it's a wisdom or a constitution save.
But don't roll yet. Wisdom saving throw. I am also going to use. I am also going to use. Hold on, I have to look something up. Don't roll.
Just while that's happening, Matthias is going to be like subtly moving kind of around behind
Yeah.
this thing.
I don't know any of the divination stuff. I think it's portent. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pick your roll for you. I just am gonna
Oh.
read the words real quick.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's before I roll, you pick you can choose to give me a roll.
So you have to use a 10.
Okay. I have to use a 10. Matthias, make a stealth check for me real quick.
That would be a nat 20, Captain.
Ooh, okay. Hold on.
I feel like I'm either rolling really bad or really good this time. No
on a
in between
nat 20
rolls.
stealth. No. Yeah, you stick around this thing. It's still like looking at Peter. Okay, with a 10 on its roll, this thing would still have a total of 17 on a wisdom save.
What? Jesus Christ, what did you roll before?
What did I get? A 14? My highest roll was a 7 on advantage. I rolled a 1 and a 7.
I would have +2 to that if I'd changed my robes, but I didn't actually say that. So,
Okay. Well, if you want to, I mean, I'll let you, like, you can change the robe as, like, you're not in initiative order. So all right. You can change the robe.
So +2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that put your DC? That puts your DC at a 17. If it meets it, it still saves. So I think even with switching the robe,
taking this robe off, we're all like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. Well, it's the same robes. He just ties it differently.
Yeah. As you go to like shift the function of the robe, Peter, give me an insight check real quick.
Seven.
Okay. On a 7, you go to shift the function of this robe. And in this space, it's so faint, like only you would really hear it, because it's almost like it echoes inside, but you're like shifting the function of this robe. And as you do it, in your voice, you hear just a cold howl. It seems like it's echoing out from a tower shrouded by this gloom far, far from here. And in this howl, you hear in the voice of oh my God, I don't have the NPC name right here. What did we call your wizard that you were an apprentice for? Morden, thank you. Just made it today and couldn't remember it. You hear in this howl Morden's voice, and in the howl you hear the words,
Thief, pretender, soft-willed.
Oh, fuck off, mate. We still got away from you, didn't we?
And the cloak shifts its function. You've tried to cast Charm Spell, Legendary Resistance, boom. You go to cast Polymorph, and you're using your portent to. No one else hears the cloak.
But we hear Peter.
Yeah, I mean, does Peter say that aloud, or is he just kind of like echoing in his head? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Peter, you then go to cast Polymorph, and this you use your portent to try and you're looking through what does this look like as you try and cast this polymorph spell, also using a portent to control?
Yeah, I feel like it is literally that. It's a gesture in the air, and he's trying to turn something. If it works, can I have that failure to at least shout out to Morphede in Elvish, I think this is dangerous?
Yeah, for sure. You go to make that roll.
I'm failing everything.
Does not break contact with you. You shout out in Elvish. Morphede, your hand still on the head of this creature. It is still making eye contact with you, Peter. And now, let me ask this. Does anyone in the group speak Sylvan?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Well, this thing says in a voice like all of you would understand it in common because it's making itself understood, but it is speaking in words that none of you understand, and yet somehow you comprehend the meaning of it. As it speaks, looking directly at you, Peter.
Why did you do that?
Because you giving me the creeps.
What is your name?
I don't think I want you to know that.
A pity. I like collecting things.
Mufid,
I'm gonna cast. I'm going to Misty Step actually.
Yeah.
With the panic in Peter's voice, she would Misty Step to his side.
You misty steps
Do
aside.
do I
When I do
do I
that,
hear
though,
that?
sorry, go ahead. Just
Do
with
I
the
hear that she's okay?
And
Q,
there
you
it
go.
is. There's
just
the
with the
zoom.
Winter Eladrin, I can frighten one creature near me while I Misty Step too. It's an
Ooh.
automatic.
Okay, what's the DC for it?
My DC is 13. Do I add anything to that?
Nope. Is it a wisdom save? It's fear. It's got to be a wisdom save. I will tell you, I'm gonna roll this on the dice cam. This creature gets a +7 to this roll. So and I think frightened is so it gets advantage. The highest of these dice has to be a 5 or lower in order for it to fail. It's an 8 and a 6. 8 is still high. It gets a total of 15 on the roll. It's not frightened. You misty step. It doesn't budge at all. I mean, you're misty stepping, so your hand immediately like leaves its, and where most creatures that would be enough to startle them. Unblinking still. It's now just looking both at you and Peter, Morpheed.
it's making eye contact with both eyes, but with both of us at the same time.
Hugo feels the awkwardness of the situation. He's like, "Well, it was so nice to meet you, Gilly. Have a good time out here. We're gonna get going. But memories forever meeting you. It was great." And he's gonna turn Barnabas around and slowly start to try and walk away.
Wait.
Did you accept that name though? You accept the name Gilgamesh or whatever it was. What was it?
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar. Gilgamesh. You look like
Gilgamesh is a great name too. Gilgamesh is a good name.
Yeah, this creature's going to look at you as you start to depart, Hugo.
Wait. You have given me 2 gifts. May I give something to you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Hugo's gonna turn
Peter.
around.
Peter immediately casts banishment.
Okay, what's the save for that?
That is a charisma saving throw.
Okay, charisma saving throw. I'll tell you right now, I'll roll this in the box too. It's the charisma.
Oh wait, but I'm gonna replace your roll with.
Okay. I will tell you just in case this changes what you want to do. This creature gets a +9 to its charisma saves. So 2 more than its wisdom.
That's okay.
Okay.
I used my lower stakes replacement die. I just
Okay.
didn't expect it to succeed. A 10 and a 2, so now you get a 2.
On a 2, you see this thing asks about the gift. You cast banishment. Yeah, I don't think this. It's not gonna It's not gonna do it. It's gone. It is silent in the glade again.
What if it was
I
going to give us something good?
No,
yeah. What if they gave me
Oh,
another unicorn? A friend,
I-
another friend.
you'll feel those weird vibes, kind of like. And Maya's talking to Cav mostly at this point. Like, yeah, my mom, bless her heart, she's telling me a story about like creatures and this kind of
Let's go ahead and
area.
stand
It's
around
real
and
fun.
talk about this for the next minute while I have to hold this spell, though. We should go.
Dang it! I thought it just pieced out.
No.
All right, let's go.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
onwards.
before you go, Cav is kind of like patting the ground where the thing just was and sort of like looking underneath his hand, and then is going to get up to go with the rest of you.
Yeah, it's gone, buddy.
Well, let's
that
take
moth
note that
did me
moths
dirty.
moths are fucking assholes, dude. They eat your clothes. They fucking fuck them.
That creature, he's been watching, though. I don't think that will be the last time we see it.
Watching? What did you see it before? Is it following us?
I believe so.
Is that the thing that's following you that definitely is not following you, that definitely
Oh,
won't get a
because
reward
nothing's
for getting
following us.
changed?
This is a different thing.
This is a
Hey.
new thing.
It's now following us as a group. Look at us. Look at. Now we have a creepy thing. Wow, this is growth, y'all. Hugo and his never-ending group of friends, and he's just talking to himself as he's riding off. You know, when I was a kid, and you just hear it trail off.
And you hear the bass line to come together.
Okay. We're leaving this. I think over the next. I'm not going to make you roll more survival checks. Your travel for the next few days goes by unhindered. Watches go by silent, no large creatures. I think there are some points during the day when, other than already seeing some of like the insects and things like that you've already seen, I mean, there is a point like on the afternoon on the second day where far in the distance you see what almost looks to be a hillside moving, and then you realize must be either the same or another one of those giants just kind of moving with a big old slab of rock on its back, just towering but far in the distance. There is a couple, like a point where, you know, you're looking, you've kind of like gone up on one of those spires of rock and you're rounding it as the path goes around it, so you've got a pretty good vantage point where you like see another herd of unicorn down at the foot. But as you do this, like Barnabas kind of like is stamps and like snorts from the top of the hill, and you see that like this pack of unicorns down at the base like seems to catch a scent, and one of them looks up and sees just like the gleam of Barnabas is now like polished unicorn horn, because Hugo, you've been taken care of. Barnabas has been living the good life. You see they catch sight of this unicorn that has like been tamed or is partnered with this group, and like Cav's massive form too, kind of like taking up the rear behind all of you and just sort of
Oh my
providing a
god.
frame for
The unicorn is traveling in a pack of 7. How did you plan this?
the unicorn, like the pack down here like fully runs, so you don't run into any more really danger for the next few days. There is a point to where you hit. All of you go ahead and make me one more history check.
Or
Okay.
17.
21.
11.
Well,
14.
Okay, 21. What the next was, I heard that was the next
17.
size wasn't the 14.
I got a 17.
17, 21, and then a 17. Okay, cool.
Thank you for this die, Elijah.
You're welcome. On the 17, Zen, I'm going to tell you one of the things that like you real is that you are like you come into this space where after a few days like night falls, and when you go to wake up the next morning, it is still nighttime. And then you can feel it in the air, and even the way that the starlight falls down on your skin, that like daylight has not broken yet. And for the next few days over again, so now like you've been traveling 5 or 6 days, but for these next couple days, night continues. And there are points at the night where it almost gets to be daylight, like you can all like that golden glow like almost hits and starts to spread across the sky before abating. Same thing on the other end, like they'll start to like where a sunrise should be or a sunset should be, it is almost another sunrise that creates this purplish reddish, but again that abates too. And Zin, you would realize that you are on a section of the wild path known as the Velvet Fields, a section where it is always night. And dotted in the sky above, there's all these constellations. I think as all of you are looking at these, I'm going to say, Amaya, what was your history check?
4.
Okay. Give me a perception check real quick.
Okay. It's a 13.
On a 13, you are looking up at these constellations, and maybe you blinked, but they've moved in the sky. Like, not rapidly, but fast for a constellation. And as you watch, you begin to see, like, as you start to actually focus on different, like, stars in the sky and groupings of them, you see that they are all slowly moving, but not all in the same direction. Some of them are moving in separate directions. Zin, you are seeing the same thing, and you would know here in the Velvet Fields that the constellations and the reason that this place is cloaked in night is not because the sun doesn't rise here on the wild path, but because over the Velvet Fields there is wrapped a truly godlike serpent, like so large that it's hard to even take in the coils of its body, but it is wrapped around this section of the path, and on its underside are painted constellations. It's part of the patterning of this serpent, so it's different parts. Like it's basically the snake like constricting and unconstricting in different spots, but it creates the sky above you.
That's wicked.
It's been about a week now that you've all been traveling on the path together. No more sign of the creature from the grove.
The creeper.
The creeper from the grove. Morphe, you were over a 20 on your history check, right?
I think I was a 21.
21. Let me look at something real quick and see if that is... Yes, indeed it is. There is another point, while still... It is kind of like one of those points where it almost seems to be like dusk, like a crepuscular light starts to creep back in before fading away into night. And all of you here echoing out across the plains and down the wild path, this haunting horn sounds. And as it sounds, it stirs up a wind on the path that blows the grass, and your hair blows back from you. There are like several of those nighttime moths that kind of like bounce off of Cav's lit up glowing eyes. And each time the horn resounds again, that wind blows down the path. Morphid, your history check is high enough to know what this horn is. This horn sounds and has sounded in the Feywild since, well, probably ever since the Feywilds had been created. And it is the horn that sounds to summon one who will hunt the dangerous and fearsome creature known as the Wallachria. And the horn sounding here in the wild path means that you are close indeed to finding the end of your path and reaching the Fey realm. You also know that the horn will continue to sound until the day that finally someone answers the hunt and goes to find the Wallachria. I think this for, about 5 minutes or so while this purplish light is kind of in the air and the serpent has allowed a little bit of that daylight in. The horn sounds, and then finally it passes away and it goes back to night. We're about 8 days in now to all of you traveling together. And is everyone kind of doing the same setup on watch? Like Cav is sentry all night, but Amaya will stay up a little bit for the first watch. Piotr tends to kind of wake up nervously and just check that things are good before going back to sleep. Hugo, you're setting your alarm every night before bed, which I think does, there's one night, a couple nights before this one, where the alarm goes off. And the way that your alarm goes off now, Hugo, when you set it, is Barnabas just wakes up, just screaming, loud enough to wake the entire, and then immediately after 5 or 6 streams just goes right back into a dead sleep, but wakes up and does this. And you just see there's this small, just a small little moss fox, tall, super pointy big ears, but instead of fur, it's just kind of covered in moss and little teeny, close cropped flowering plants as it kind of scurries across into the campsite.
Peter
Barnabas
banishes.
starts, screaming, and this moss fox just takes off running. It is the 8th night, though, of you all traveling together. And Hugo, the dead of night, I think at this point it is just Cav, who is awake, just sitting there in the sentry pose, eyes dimmed. You awaken to the sound of a familiar voice, the sound of there it is, the sound of your ancestors, or your ancestor, I should say, from the dream. Hugo.
Yes, Mima?
Come to me now. Come to the glade.
I'm confused, Mima. I thought I was supposed to go to the Feywilds.
I am here, on the wild path. Come to me and we will finish the journey together.
Well, if you insist, yeah, okay. But I thought I was supposed to go to the Feywilds. Why are you here? Please explain.
Hugo, make a.
Also, like, how are you? I haven't heard you in a while. Like, what's new? What's going on? How's life? How's
As
the
you
afterlife?
are saying this, Hugo, go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw real quick.
Woo. Is this a charm of any sorts?
It does. You get to do it with advantage.
So first one was 21. Second one is 23. So 23 on my wisdom save.
Okay, cool. 23. You're sitting there. You question the voice. My power wanes the further I walk from this glade. But with you at my side, I can finally reach the other realm. I've been trapped here so long, Hugo. Please.
Hugo. Yeah, I feel like Hugo would just be like, all right, like, fuck, okay. Hey, everybody who's asleep, I'm gonna go to a glade real quick to meet my ancestor.
Barnabas kind of
You can come if you want.
wakes up and is like looks at you with one eye. Like, do you want me to go with you?
Barnabas, you flatter me. I don't like going anywhere without you. You're like a brother to me, or a sister, or a sibling, or whatever you want to be known as.
Wait, Hugo, you're going to a glade?
I walked the path to reconnect with my ancestral line. They told me to walk it, and I would know, and I would hear their voice, and yeah. So I guess my journey's up. I guess it's been great meeting all of you.
I'd like to come with you to this glade.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a family cookout. I'd
Okay,
never
great.
had one. We were dirt poor, but this is what I feel like a family cookout would be like. So if anyone wants to go, yeah.
Amaya, like, eyes bleary with sleep, kind of like cocks the head up and is like, "Sorry, you saying you heard from your family? Like,
Yeah, it's like back in the cave when we killed that
Like
nasty
Del?
fucking bird. Like what?
like Delphine, your sister."
No, it's not like Delphine. It's like, like after we killed that giant fucking monster thing, and then like we were walking down. I heard the ancestral voice that told me to find that cave we walked into, and then walk the path of the wild, and I guess I hear it now. So
So this is the end of our journey. Yeah, okay, all right. Cav, come on, bud. We're moving.
Yeah, Cav's gonna get up. Is everyone else headed to the glade too?
I mean,
Sure.
you guys can still sleep if you want to. This is why we've been following Hugo, so might as well see it through, right?
You do not.
Or I can tell them to come here. Probably they probably can come to our camp. Hey,
Can they?
Mima, do you wanna come? If we're pretty close, you can just come to camp.
I cannot leave the glade.
Why? Why can't you leave the glade? You got to the glade. Why can't you leave it?
My power in this place is lost to me.
Can we hear this?
No, just Hugo.
Can we hear Hugo's responses?
Yeah, if Hugo's.
Oh
doing
yeah,
well.
Hugo would
yeah, for sure.
fully be talking like they're like there.
Where's this glade at?
Where's the glade? Where is it at?
You are close.
It's close.
I guess we just keep going down the path. There's just
There
one
you
direction,
go.
right?
Hugo, you get in the back of the line there.
Okay. And he just hops on Barnabas.
Hold on. Why the back of the line?
I don't know if you noticed, but I don't really trust anything here. Let's go ahead and put him at the back. So if this is somehow, some kind of trap or a trick or another moth that wants to murder all of us, maybe he'll be at the back of it.
We do also need to watch out for the Willocria, the horn. It's
What
being
now?
hunted
The
currently.
what now? The
Hey,
what?
hey, Mima, real quick. You're not like a Wallachria or anything, right? Like you're not trying to trick me. Like you just want to see your little boy and be reunited with family, right?
I need you to come to the glade.
But if you're a Wallachria, you have to tell us if you are, right?
I
Yes,
totally
legally
understand.
I have to yes.
I hear the desperation, but you didn't answer my question.
Hugo, give me an insight check, real quick.
Insight. I. 16 plus 3 is 19.
On a 19, there's something in the repetition of these phrases. You feel, I think, and successfully resisted, but there is a magic like pulling you, coaxing you, trying to get you. And the way that the questions are being answered, your ancestor, the one that has been, is just trying to get you to come to this, and you can feel the desperation in their voice. And it's almost like each time they reach out and speak to you, like you can feel them, it gets more and more faint.
Hey Mima, real quick, what's my middle name?
Hugo.
Peter's gonna fly up and see if he can see where this glade is.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Matthias is going to do a divine sense.
Ooh. Okay, cool. The reading of divine sense is you reach out and what can you...
The presence of evil registers like a noxious odor and good like heavenly music in your ears until the end of your next turn, which I assume only applies if you're like in turn order. You know the location of any celestial, fell spirit, undead, fiend, or primordial force.
What was the perception check for Peter?
Oh, sorry. 14.
14. Peter, you head up into the air. You look. There's a bend not far ahead in the path, maybe just a few minutes walk. And immediately after that bend, you see it quickly sinks down and almost out of sight. And then the path opens again into this beautiful little glade. Small brook running through it. Even from this height, you can catch this little golden glint of fish darting about in the brook. It's very close. Matthias, you reach out with your divine sense. Something very, very evil is very close. And I think with divine sense, you get an idea of what the creature is too. I think you don't just know if something's there or not. You get a sense of what it is and
Yeah, I mean the way it's worded on here is this location and then it lists all the things. So I assume you might be able to sort of tell what kind of creature it is too.
Yeah. Give me a history check.
Nat 20. I should use these dice all the time. These are like, I never use these ones except for
Easy
Matthias.
lovers can't lose.
Matthias.
Easy lovers can't.
You reach out. In the name celestial is kind of like inherent this idea of like something that comes from the heavens or comes from, I mean, it's crude to say the sky. But is it? You imagine celestial creatures as something that comes from like the golden light of the descent, like, and descends through white clouds. This is a creature of night. It is a creature of shadow. And it is a thief. Because as you reach out and sense this celestial creature, something that is born of night itself, you know it. There are a lot of different words used for this creature. Some call them dream ghasts. Some call them doppelgangers. But most commonly, they are known simply as night folk. And what they covet is someone's form. Their shape, their skin, their body, their face. Every night folk or doppelganger, when it is born, is ethereally linked through dreams to an individual who they covet. They can speak to that individual in their dreams in whatever form they choose to assume. But they are desperate to consume the individual with which they have an obsession. What a night folk or a doppelganger will become if it is able to consume the person that it covets, few know. But it becomes something else. And in this moment, you are reaching out like you sense the glade. Matthias, it's not in the glade. It's much closer than that. And Hugo, I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
That's a 6.
16 for me.
On a 6, Matthias, your eyes go wide, and before you can even shout, you look up. All of you are looking at Hugo, standing there.
Oh, I got 16.
16, but Hugo got a 6. It was the Constitution save was for Hugo, not for Matthias.
Oh, sorry, I
No, it's
misheard
okay.
that part.
It's okay. All of you are looking at Hugo. And you can see for a moment, like, a cloud kind of passes over his eyes. And then next to him, semi-translucent, it's hard to see in the night. Except for you, Zen, because you don't see in the night, you see. So what you see with your senses perfectly is a wide, white face, sharp, crooked teeth, and enormous black cavities where the eyes should be. And then just kind of this amorphous, hulking black, flowing blob that appeared like the face is affixed to the front of this shifting thing. And it is right behind Hugo. The rest of you just see kind of this ghostly, shadowy shape. You go with a 6 on your Constitution save. You are going to take
Since I knew that it was there before, if I like shout out to warn Hugo, can that like give him advantage or anything on the save? Because
I'll
like I
allow
knew
it.
it was
Yeah, you shout
before
out.
everyone could see
You
it.
shout out. What do you shout?
I think just like it would just be like the most instinctual, like, Hugo, look out.
Hugo, you shout this. I think you actually shouting that, it's going to change it. So it gives advantage in a way because this thing is going, like, you shout out and it knowing now that, Matthias, you know it's here, and I think it immediately also, like, it is going to sense also that it is perceived by Zen. It's going to change its tactic. So, Hugo, I need you to give me an athletics or an acrobatics roll. It's your choice.
Acrobatics. 23.
Okay. I'm going to roll this on the dice cam. This thing gets a plus 7 to this roll, so it is going to need to get a 14
Plus 7
or
against
higher.
plus 7. Let's go, dude.
All of you are looking now as this thing comes into almost like leaning out of the shadow as the neck splits and goes down the torso like of this black morphs, and you just see fingers reaching out the same color as and those fingers reach around Hugo, your shoulders, your arms, your midsection. It's grabbing you, and before any of you can even take an action, Hugo, you are drawn into this thing. You can see Hugo's form still in like that amorphous black blob as it begins to the last thing you see is Hugo's eyes wide as the fingers close in front of it. And that is where we are going to end this session.
Hugo got a cool new bodysuit. Sick.
Cool new sleeping bag. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back not next week, but the week after that with our last episode of Hedge Nights, our little campaign for Spooky Month. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Hello, goodbye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.